be back in Jacksonville. We could never repay Jacksonville for what they did during the pandemic. So every year the UFC comes back, it feels right. The crowd's always out. There's always a ton of energy. And this has become a place that the UFC goes to every year. And I love it.
Hard to get to from Northern California, but we appreciate you making the trek.
I will make the trek for Jacksonville.
All right, well, let's dive right into this main event. Back in February in Perth, Western Australia, Josh Emmett challenged for the UFC's interim featherweight title. Yair Rodriguez got the better of him that night. He wanted this quick turn. Now he will try to bounce Topuria from the ranks of the unbeaten.
Oh yeah, we got Emmett, and he is a nasty, nasty guy with the wrestling and the overhand right punches that he has, but Topuria has been able to take everybody down if he gets rocked as well. But when we're talking about Emmett himself, the wrestling accolades, the guillotines that he's got from that Team Alpha Male squad that he trains with, the punches that he lands, he's got a knockdown rate that not many people have in the entire UFC, and he can also eat shots. So we've got a fight that both guys can take the damage, give the damage, and they both have the grappling to submit anybody in the world. DC on the other side, we have Topuria. Josh Emmett
check. Yeah, that's good.
Topuria has never faced someone like
all right,
him, but as the
settings
have
here.
Stiffer for Topuria, he's handled them all.
Yeah, he's stepped
A little bit,
he's
not too
in
much.
Every situation, this young man has shown such a tremendous skill set. When he is fighting guys that are known as grapplers, he submits them. When he is fighting strikers, he puts them down. He has a great wrestling base. He has unbelievable striking, and he has the look of a guy that can challenge and potentially hold a UFC championship. The submission of Bryce Mitchell, the knockout against, I don't remember the guy's name, Ryan Hall, the way he was able to go to the ground and finish him, and his striking, his ability to set up his strikes is something to behold. He is tremendous, John.
And you touched on the rub. A lot of people are very excited to see what Topuria could do in a championship setting. First, he'll try to handle Josh Emmett here tonight. Outstanding main card, of course, coming your way on ABC. That includes this first fight out of the chute, the middleweight division, and with more on that matchup, we say hello to Megan O'Leary. MJ.
Hey, thank you so much, John. Well, as he prepares to kick off this main card in just moments on ABC, Brendan Allen has really leaned into the practices that help keep his anxiety and nerves at bay during fight week. For the past several fights he's had, he's actually been really vocal about making sure he is in the right headspace to do it. Now, I spoke with Brendan yesterday about the situation that's in front of him, and he was really honest with his assessment, saying that he is facing a very dangerous but unranked Bruno Silva, who truly has nothing to lose in this situation. It is a risky scenario, but all fights are. So instead of letting his nerves get the best of him, instead Brendan Allen just focuses on what's in front of him. And by that he means literally, if he cannot reach out and grab it, then he can't give it any attention. For him, there is no outside influence to put on an exclamation point for this performance, but internally, that is exactly what he is hoping to do, because the ranked middleweight is certainly looking to face someone in the top 10 of this next outing. But right now, it is the here and now for Brendan Allen as he is about to face an opponent. He can certainly reach out and grab in just moments. Guys?
All right, Megan, thank you very much. Brendan Allen and Bruno Silva to kick off the main card. And DC, it's a short list right now of elite middleweights who have not had a crack at the champion, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. Brendan Allen is on that list, and tonight trying to further his case with a 5th straight win.
Well, yeah, he has to win this fight. And I know he says he doesn't need to do it impressively, but he needs to. He's ranked number 13. And in a division where so many have fought Israel Adesanya, it's important to look better every time. This man has tremendous skills. He has really crisp boxing. But I feel like the biggest improvements have come in the grappling. He has shown an ability to not only strangle people, but he has shown an ability to compete with the best in the ground. And when he's there, he's as comfortable as he is on the feet.
And on the other side, we have another accomplished veteran, Dom Bruno Silva. They call him Blindado, translation armored. Fought a lot of bigger guys early in his career, could take a beating, oftentimes beat those guys. There is no denying his power on the feet.
Yeah, armored is the perfect word, because you'll see this man take shots and then he's like, you know what, it doesn't matter because my power is more. I'm going to keep eating these. I'm going to be durable. Eventually, one of these shots is going to land. This man's going to chop down like a tree. And that's the thing you got to watch out for Silva, is he's confident in his durability and knows all he needs is one shot to get you out.
Looks like some fairly outstanding matchmaking to kick off the main card on ABC, and holding down his rightful place in the top 15, Brendan Allen now expects to to hold off the charge of Brazilian bomber Bruno Silva to continue his maraud up the middleweight ladder. A lot is made of the depth in the UFC at bantamweight and featherweight and lightweight, but how about this UFC middleweight division?
The division is absolutely amazing, and this young man, Bruno Silva, is very talented. He's got a super well-rounded game, very aggressive, real knockout power.
Oh! Bruno Silva! Welcome to the big show!
A categoria peso médio do UFC, eu acredito muito, é as mais difíceis. É a minha 7ª luta e eu quero muito pegar os caras bons, os caras de nome. Eu quero ser o maior nocauteador do peso médio.
Massive 1-2 from Silva! Jordan Wright trying to survive! Oh, that's gonna do it. That is it!
E, com o tempo, meu trabalho vai ser consequência de ser campeão.
Vocês vão ouvir muito falar de mim. É matar ou morrer, eu luto pra vencer.
For me, stepping in that cage is 15 or 25 minutes of pure freedom. I don't think of anything else. I don't have any worries, any concerns. My mind is free, and dealing with the mental aspect has been absolutely the most important part of this 4-fight win streak.
Brendan Allen, another one of these guys who came off of Dana White's Contender Series, former LFA middleweight champion and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
When you watch him fight, he pretty much wants to do one thing: get his hands on you, take you down, and look for the submission. And I'm telling you,
This is not where you want to be with Brendan Allen.
I'm looking to prove in this fight that I'm just levels above anyone that's not ranked. I keep everything sharp, and I definitely have the confidence that my jiu-jitsu is better than everyone that I'm going to fight.
Hey, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, he tapped! Brendan Allen submits Carl Robertson!
Ele é um cara que tem os méritos dele, um cara não tá ali à toa no ranking, né? Então tem que achar muita coisa dele, não. Tem que ir lá e sair na mão com ele, bater nele e vir pra casa com a vitória e pronto.
Bitchute! Huge right hand for Silva! Big win!
Eu sou muito brigador, sou muito coração na luta. Não me intimido fácil com qualquer porrada, qualquer chute. Eu continuo andando pra frente. Então, se eu conseguir botar uma mão, eu desligo ele.
Sanchez wobbly along the fence. Silva hammered away. That's gonna do it. Another comeback win for Bruno Silva.
Vou trabalhar muito pra recuperar essa vitória dele e eu entrar no ranking.
I'm going out there to prove that I'm ready for that title shot, that I'm next in line. My game is very well-rounded. I have good cardio. I'm strong. I'm fast.
That's it. Brendan Allen.
I know I can be the best in the world, but it's just about me going out there and showing that I am the best in the world.
All right, coming up next, high stakes in the middleweight division as Brendan Allen looks to extend his winning streak to 5 against the ever-dangerous Bruno Silva.
Okay, guys, target vault's ahead. He's confirmed inside.
This is impossible.
Get the key to her financials and personal data. Strike key, go! Why is this key so hard to get?
Modelo. Allen is in blue. Bruno Silva, the underdog, is in black. Allen repping Kill Cliff FC in South Florida. Comes in having won his last 4. And even though Bruno Silva did suggest that Allen initially turned him down, Allen has said repeatedly that he's trying to fight the best guys, the highest ranked guys he can get his hands on. He's fighting an unranked fighter tonight. Good early connection by Allen. Ooh, head kick gets through for BA.
Wow. You see Silva, man, when he gets his opportunity, he lets those things fly.
Body kick from Allen, knee to the body lands for Silva.
This is what Brendan Allen is looking for. This is what he does really well. Once he gets that clinch, he'll hang on you here.
Oh!
Makes him the ground and pound too once he gets you down. But that elbow, those elbows and the clinch that he has is very slick. The knees and elbows here.
I mean, perhaps I overreacted, but that landed flush for Allen, who told us Thursday he believes he's bigger, stronger, faster, and more well-rounded than Silva.
Even hearing John, the reason you react like that, because his back was the sound.
Yeah.
And that sound sounded nasty.
Yeah, and I promise you, Silva's team in their corner don't want you in on the fence with Brendan Allen. This is not the game plan to be here with Brendan Allen. This is where Brendan Allen's so good, and he gets all his takedowns and all his rear naked chokes. You want to be in the open with Allen.
You don't want to be grappling with him if you're Silva. You want to be striking.
Yep.
And it appears as though Silva might already be leaking.
Guys, come on.
Oh, that was stupid. I should have done the other one. Oh well.
Allen picking his shots here.
And here's the thing with fighting unranked fighters. They're all still so good.
Right.
Very rarely do you just wipe somebody out, right? You might be ranked 11, 12, 13. This guy may be 17, just right outside the rankings. And when you get in there, you're like, man, this is a world-class mixed martial art.
Right.
So rankings are just numbers. It ain't like football,
right,
where the #1 team might just beat a vet.
Yeah, he hurt him right now. Silva hurt him back.
Danger factor.
Oh, hit him again.
Huge shot from Silva.
No, he hurt Silva. Silva got hurt on the way in. Allen caught him with something short.
All right.
It looked like he got wobbled a little bit there.
Oh, he's powerful, and he's ahead on the strikes right now. He's very active.
Oh! Huge left from Allen. Now he shoots.
Nice defense there. Even after getting rocked a little bit, he stuffed that takedown to 10.
He sure did.
Brendan.
And
But I
so, go ahead, champ.
I think he's going to be a little more cautious in his approach, or he better be at least.
Oh, no, he's got Allen guessing right now.
Back and forth we go, under 2 minutes to go, round 1.
Great job by Brendan Allen to stand his ground and get that respect back in the pocket. Because if you sit there and let Silva unload on you, you're going to get behind, and he's going to get too much confidence. Oh, he's hurt, though. I mean, you see Brendan gets his back against the fence, he fights, but he cannot sit here with Silva.
Ooh, these guys are throwing.
I'm telling you.
Oh, he hurt.
Silva goes down. Brendan Allen trying to close the show.
Oh, he can get him out of here. He's working at it. Heavy shots being landed. Not using too much energy either. Brendan Allen, very smart about his approach to the finish here.
A lot of high-level experience for the former LFA middleweight champion. Under a minute to go, round 1.
Look at the patience of Allen. Very patient, even though he knows. He's like, he knows he'll get him out of here. He takes his time.
And you watch Morgana, he's not even close on those punches. He's going to give Silva an opportunity. But Allen's going to get his back here.
This is what he does. Takes the back in on these positions so much. He wants to get that right hook in there.
Silva told us Thursday he had to be very precise with his get-ups. Allen, a very threatening talent on the ground.
He's got the choke.
There it is. Number 10.
There's the tap. 5 in a row for Brendan Allen. There is no denying him now.
That's his 10th rear naked choke. And we mentioned in the beginning, that's what he does. He beats you up on the fence, and then he takes your back, and then he chokes you.
And And immediately Allen comes over to the booth. He's been trying to get ahead of this Daniel Cormier post-fight interview all week. His fellow Louisianan. What a moment for Brendan Allen. Dealt with some of that Bruno Silva storm and came out the other side. Now time for a look at today's freaky fast finish. Brought to you by Jimmy John's.
Right here you see Brendan Allen in tight. Silva's throwing a beautiful uppercut from in close. Look at Allen. Uncorked his right hand, and the second right hand just stiffs him. Knocks him down. He takes his time, as Dom spoke to. And right here, the moment Silva turned his back, VA just jumped on the rear naked choke, and it's in tight. Silva was going nowhere, and Brendan Allen gets a submission victory. Look at this. When it's that tight, you're done, Dom. They're hiding the hands behind your head. You can't unpeel the lock. You have no choice but to tap or go to sleep. Great job by Brendan Allen.
And there is the reaction. Gerald Mershart among those in the corner. Tuco Takas and Dieter Navarro as well. Brendan Allen firmly on the middleweight radar. He gets a hot mic coming up on ABC.
Easy, and you just had the microphone. Here you go, my guy, it's yours.
Give me my timeline. Hey, first off, shout out state.com, best place to place bets. My guy Skinny Bets on IG, they gonna get you paid. Second, I'm the youngest guy in the top 15 with some of the most fights. I'm really doing this. I've been out here and I haven't even reached my prime. I haven't shown everything. I will be the next champion. I'm the only guy to be able to threaten the actual champion everywhere. So with that being said, Izzy, and new in 2024, I'm coming. Next, I don't know what's lined up, but maybe Jada Caranier for a title shot or for a title eliminator. Or if Drickus loses, I won't beat that butt. So that, and last two things to the bosses, Hunter, Sean, Dana, Mick. Can I get some purple shorts? I'm the only fighter that's fought in every color. And lastly, hey, I've been to Louisiana a while. The only person that can headline over me is Dustin Poirier, and I'd love to do that. We're gonna make it shine. And oh yeah, Chipotle, holla at your boy!
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Brendan All-In Allen.
Incredible effort out of Brendan Allen.
Yeah,
here
thanks,
tonight.
Jordan.
Had to walk through a little bit of fire to get it done, and we're going to look at some of the footage.
Someone had to do it, right?
That Odysee stuff, Cruzy.
I mean, you don't want to get in the pocket with Silva, but this man returned the respect. He said, you know what, go ahead, I'll sit in the pocket with you, double right hand, we'll put your lights out, and then I'm going to take my
Oh yeah, with Jacob Waters, yeah.
Hooks. Because if I throw that choke in before I throw the hooks, you won't see it coming, and he's done it over and over. That's rear naked choke number 10 for Brendan Allen.
And in terms of his ability to threaten the champion in myriad phases of the game, I think you would have to acknowledge the veracity of that comment from Brendan Allen as he extends his winning streak to 5. Ultimate Fighter, as many of you know, now underway this season, has the masses taking notice. Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler are your coaches, and you can catch it every Tuesday on ESPN and E+ at 10 p.m. Eastern. Also, if you have missed episodes 1 through 4, not to worry, you can check them out right now on ESPN+. All right, next main
Yeah, Tug's done, bro. Tug's such a... Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you so much, John. Yes, certainly going to be an entertaining.
He's such a goober, bro. He's such a goober.
Octagon appearance against Nate Landwehr was such an incredible battle that he earned himself a Fight of the Night performance bonus. The 29-year-old used the 10 months away from competition to not just get better, but also to get acquainted with his
Yeah. That one's probably the funniest shit ever. It's called the Telephone Universe, and he's like acting like it's not him. It's literally his calling card. It's pretty funny.
And the Jiu-Jitsu brown belt sees a lot of positives in this matchup. Firmly predicting the 8th finish of his career, Brazil Santos is fully focused on his own abilities.
I don't really play much live anymore, Ian. Although, you know, I've been thinking about trying to go find somewhere live to go play, maybe. Might be kind of fun. I'm not a big baseball guy. I mean, I watch it. I kind of keep up with it, but I'm not... I couldn't sit here and, like, shoot the shit with you. I mean, I could keep up maybe, but I'm not, like... You know, I know a lot about basketball. I know a pretty good amount about football, but... Baseball is definitely my weak spot. I'm a big Rangers fan, so maybe I'm going to have to start getting into it again here. Now that they've kind of turned it around.
Okay, guys. Target vault's ahead. He's confirmed inside.
This is impossible.
Get the key to her financials and personal data. Strike team, go!
Why is this key so hard to get?
Yeah, Rin's the one who keeps up with baseball more than us.
Your privacy secured.
Ellie De La Cruz, like that's your channel name?
As I can remember, I've been coming up here to skip. You see, it's so thin and crispy, it's not just perfect for eating, it's also perfect for skipping.
Oh, Ellie De La Cruz, the player, okay.
As long as I can remember, slices of thin crust pizza just
Yeah, see, he's got a lot of highlights here.
I got one!
Just hit the cycle.
Give it thin crust! It's a hot
Yeah, Cincinnati's pretty good this year, huh?
Pizza.
So, in your past relationships, you felt controlled.
Exactly. But it's over. I'm never going back.
Didn't they just take a series from the Astros?
Let's unpack that.
With Sling, I'm finally the one in control because I can change my channel lineup anytime.
For UF. Dude, I used to play, I think it's called Fight Night back in the day. We used to play that all the time, and I get so mad because I always wanted to be Roy Jones, but he didn't have a lot of power, you know, and I didn't know how to use him right, and I'd always lose, but I always wanted to keep playing with him. But if you weren't very good, you had to use the power guys and just kind of slug it out, and I kind of always wanted to, like, stick and move, but I wasn't that good at the game. Yeah, the original wiffle ball team. Yeah, Fight Night's freaking awesome. It's fun even if you're not good at it. Ian and Ryan might be playing some FIFA here in a second. FIFA's fun to play too. Why do I think Jordan never averaged 30 for the Wizards? I mean, he was a little older. What is that, like, what is that in relation to? You have a reason or something? Or you have a theory? Yeah, thanks, man. You have fun with your kid. It's a good day to go swimming. Oh yeah, especially how old he was, man. If he'd if he'd averaged 30 when he came back to the Wizards, that'd be pretty nuts, man. I mean, he still dropped 40 at the age of 40, you know, one game. He had a couple games, I think, back to back there for a little bit where he went off, which was like really fun to see. I think that kind of proved that he really was that dude. Whenever he had like some games there, a stretch. I know at least two where he scored like 40 or 45 points or something. And yeah, I remember that was pretty incredible to think about. Can I still attack? Let me just try one. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, like LeBron's 38 or something. He's not gonna get a 40-point game in another couple years. Although I guess maybe next year he might turn 40 at some point. Although if he was 38 at the end of this year, then he'll be 39 at the end of, so it'll have to be another 2 years. Oh, power 2 or less. Okay. Forgot about that. Interesting. Yeah, some risk. Yeah, y'all know I love risk. I'm down anytime. Let's see. I think I like that one better. There might be a version you have to pay for. I'm not sure which one I have. Shit. Don't think it matters. Block that one. Block one of these, why not?
Deep in the heart of Texas.
The hell are you guys?
Just to test the chat.
To the United States from Uganda with his whole family back in 2004 when he was 10 years of age. He now has shifted his training camp from Kansas City, Missouri to Denver, Colorado, and he hopes that it helps produce the desired result against that man, Gabriel Santos, who is 10-1, came into the end of a split against Lerone Murphy at UFC 286.
That was weird.
A very competitive fight, a great showcase for Santos. And now the former LFA featherweight champion spins it forward tonight against the credentialed David Onama. All right, with that backdrop, ready to go with the featherweights. Here's your tail of the tape for David Onama, 29, and Gabriel Santos, 26. Onama taller by 2 inches. No issues on the scale for either man. At or below the 146-pound divisional limit. 4-inch reach edge for the underdog, David Onama. All right, now for the particulars back inside the bar.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record. 10 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall.
Man, I need some land.
At 145 pounds, fighting out of a Sierra, Brazil, Gabriel Moscatinho. Martial artist, holding professional record, 10 wins, 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, by way of Wally, Uganda, Dave Onama.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
The no-nonsense Keith Peterson will also handle our co-main event between Macy Barber and Amanda Hebos. Chrissy Blair with us tonight. Glad you are too. Today, I should say, Jacksonville, Florida.
Sir, are you ready? Sir, are you ready?
Fight. This fight clock is brought to you by Cuervo. Gabriel Santos in black. David Onama counters in red.
Santos comes out southpaw a lot, so coming out conventional is different. In the last fight he came out, he switched a lot. We'll see if he does that with Onama. I think that calf kick is why he's coming out conventional. See, he's switching for the calf kick.
Oh, big early connection from Santos.
One of the things you heard from Onama is he doesn't want to get into a brawl, but if you're not careful, Santos will get ahead of you on the strikes and the offense if you're not first.
And like that being exchanged early, nice level change from Santos. Onama uses it against him.
That was his mistake. He tried to step in the middle and finish the takedown. He had him beat on the double, tried to step with his inside leg to trip him. You got to just get to your angle and finish the takedown the right way.
Run your feet, don't step. You can never fall before the person you're trying to take down.
Damn, dude. That card's killing me.
When try to finish. Run.
Nice armbar, and he's got Davi Ramos in his corner, so keep an eye out for that armbar. Davi Ramos, one of the best armbars in the game, and he is training Santos. So watch this guard from Santos. I guarantee you it's underrated, and he's very good here. We'll see what he can do with it. Onama's nasty on top.
Good left-hand connection by Santos as he got back to his feet.
And if you see Santos brings
Onama. His name's Onama. One more letter would be Obama.
Not careful, Onama will just keep hitting you and keep the offense going. You'll get behind on strikes. So you've got to somewhat be first. You can't wait for Santos all night.
Santos gave him a beautiful full right hand a little bit ago. He tries to draw out Onama's jab, whether it's southpaw or conventional, he tries to go over the top of it.
Good connection by Onama.
See, do it again now. Trying to draw it out.
All I hear is Obama whenever he says his name now. Ooh.
Santos has worked the legs and the head well. Corner, though, calling for some body work out of him here. He's been chopping at Onama low. What do you make of that, Dom? The coach is wanting him to invest in the body.
Well, they're wanting body work because, one, it hides the takedown, and two, it keeps Onama on the back foot where he cannot counter you.
Another pull. It also is because they've seen Onama fatigue before. And the fastest way to fatigue
he hurt him.
Get to the body.
That left hand hurt Onama right now.
Yep. Oh, he's hurt.
He hurt him with that uppercut, too. And now he's going to the armbar. This is what he is. That's it. He just
Oh man, he almost had it and he freaking twisted out of it. That was crazy.
keep that arm in that position was very, very slick.
That was slick.
Nice job Onama to get out of it.
That was very slick.
That's what I'm saying. Having Ramos in the watch this man's arm bars. We don't know about it. It's only his second fight, but look, he's setting it up again.
He's going again. Onama better get off of this guy. Let him up. Santos is doing a really good job of switching his hip, trying to attack submission.
Look at how you're seeing how Santos is getting his knees and his feet involved from the guard. He's not, see how he's getting an angle? Constantly getting an angle. Constantly getting an angle. Transitioning from arm bar to triangle now.
Onama's making a bad mistake by fighting this guy on the ground. Yeah, smart. If you're Onama, you want
I don't think I'm gonna make it, boys. I think I'm gonna lose this one.
Santos is dangerous on the ground. Ooh, nice knee by Onama.
Yeah, that knee certainly got Santos' attention. Crowd enjoying some of those submission attempts out of Moscatinho. Was credited with 2 by our sometimes stingy statisticians. Love you guys.
Nice body work. See, he's still listening, going to the well of the body.
Oh, nice.
Onama, go ahead, Dom.
No, I was just going to say Onama's been training at altitude, so I wonder how that's going to fare in the later rounds. If that adds up, gives him
Man, pulled it out at the end, bro.
He's like, I got one, but oftentimes I use a lot of that fuel early.
He said the first and second
Oh, what a last fucking play.
that he gets tired by the third round.
Can't be blocked. Man, that was close, dude. I don't know. When he was on the Wizards, was there something about him in the zone defense or something? I wouldn't think so. I mean, he was a good mid-range shooter. I have to go back and look at his three-point percentage when he was on the Wizards, too. If he, like, got better at all or not, or shot more, at least.
Back in 60 seconds.
Two Whopper Juniors for just $5. 6 options, so much to offer. Barbecue, bacon, cheese to name a few. Only $5 and you get to have 2.
Yeah, he still didn't shoot a lot of threes. Not even one per game. He shot 42% and 45%, so 23 and 20 points respectively. Seems all right. I mean, 23 and 20 points for a 38, 39, 40-year-old is pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, but you know the thing about LeBron, dude, is he is like a just athletic freak. You know, like I wouldn't be too worried about it in terms of like their age. You also have to realize like LeBron just now is getting into Jordan's age with the Wizards. So like this last season he averaged what, 29? It's pretty good. On 500 shooting. Shooting a lot more though. 22 attempts a game. Jordan only averaged 18 attempts a game. 22, 18. I mean, LeBron, dude, like, that's the one thing about LeBron is he is just an athletic freak, even compared to Jordan in a lot of ways, especially at this age of his career. I mean, there's no reason to be salty about that, you know. Yeah, so I kind of have a hot take. I mean, I think a lot of athletes are on some kind of steroids or something. You got to realize, too, like, there's things called EPOs, which is kind of like for endurance, like long-distance running and stuff like that. Basketball would be a good sport to kind of take that stuff. I mean, you know, I just think when the money gets so big and you're trying to get to that next level, I think a lot of guys take stuff, and it's just the way it is. Like, I almost don't have a problem with it in a way, in a kind of a weird way. If that makes sense. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have proof, right? So, like, I'm totally going off just gut feeling, but you know, like, the way LeBron was built in high school to, like, the way he is now, I mean, and also there was that time when he left Cleveland and got to Miami or something. I mean, he put on, like, 15, 20 pounds of muscle or something. That's not natural, you know, like, what guys do in the off season, I'm sure they probably dabble a little more on average than just in the regular season. In terms of like stuff during the whole year, I don't know. That's a little harder to guess. Now, one thing I can say, this is a true story. So there was a couple brothers, like actual brothers, not brothers, but brothers, although they were brothers too. They were brothers whenever I went to high school in Dallas, and one of them played at A&M, and his older brother played at Illinois that year that they went undefeated and lost to North Carolina in the championship game. That was maybe like 15 years ago or something. But we hung out a little bit after that, and he said like almost, 75, 80, 90% of the guys in the league smoke weed, right? Like they all smoke, especially in the off season, right? And just knowing that many guys smoke, and he knew like a few guys who smoked with Jordan also, by the way. And I don't have any reason to think he'd like exaggerate or anything like that. He played like with Darren Williams at Illinois, stuff like that. But he says like most of the guys in the league smoke, right? And if you're gonna smoke and it lasts in your system for about a month, right, that you can get busted for a test, it's not crazy to think that they're not taking other stuff, knowing it's going to be out of their system even less than that, and it's going to give them an athletic competitive edge in terms of like we're talking about making millions of dollars or incentives in your contracts. If you do so well, you get XYZ bonuses or what have you, right? I was just watching this guy. I hate when guys knock out another guy and they like laud over them or whatever. But like to think that, they smoke and it lasts in your system for a month, to think that like they wouldn't take steroids to get some kind of edge in the game. And again, steroids, people always think of steroids like you get real bulked up and strong. You can take other stuff that is just improves your endurance. I mean, even Adderall, right? Even Adderall is kind of, I'm pretty sure it's banned in just about all professional sports because it gives you such a mental, focus. And, I've only done Adderall once. It was pretty crazy. But it gives you such like a mental edge and focus, right? I mean, it's not crazy to think that guys aren't taking stuff. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. I can't really speak to, but I would put it around 50%. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 50, especially in baseball. Like, I think baseball, a lot of guys are taking stuff. But basketball, I don't know. I could see them taking stuff that improves their endurance and things like that. But look, I mean, I don't know, man. LeBron's just such a freak. You just kind of ask yourself, like, is he really in the top 1%? Or is he taking stuff, or is it a little bit of both? Like, I don't know. And that's also one of the things, right? Like in the 80s and 90s, guys weren't like quite like the physical specimens that the average player seems to be today. So you could say there's something there, possibly, you know, as we kind of go on, steroids are becoming more and more accepted, and guys are kind of I think know how to be a little smarter about it. But I honestly don't know, but that's just kind of my feeling. I wouldn't doubt it if LeBron took something, or, you know, guys on average these days are taking something more than probably back in the day. Yeah, and that's that's the thing, is like people, when they think of steroids in their head, they think of like Mr. Olympias or Arnold Schwarzenegger or like Barry Bonds, right? Like they think of guys getting just like huge mass and bigger and stuff like that. There are roids out there that don't necessarily affect like your muscle mass the same way. Like EPOs are a good example. I forget what EPOs stand for, but it's essentially like an endurance steroid. Like Lance Armstrong took it, right? Lance Armstrong's not a big, bulky, muscular guy, right? But like EPOs can make you just go all day. Like I don't know exactly how it works, like if it's your red blood cell count or like your oxygen efficiency or something like that. But EPOs can make your endurance just go through the roof, right? Like long distance athletes take them. And basketball, all things considered, right, is an endurance sport compared to a lot of other things, like more so than football or baseball. You know, hockey's probably like a good comparison of like, you know, you need just as much physical fitness and endurance as you do strength, right? So, yeah, blood doping too. You know, like there was that guy, who was the guy on the Steelers who said, you know, I know Lance Armstrong did it with the blood transfusions or whatever, but even that guy on the Steelers, Harrison or something, I think he had mentioned he did like blood transfers and stuff too. Like there's all kinds of stuff out there, man. Who even knows, right? Yeah, the linebacker for the Steelers, I forget his name, but yeah. Yeah, there's actually a guy called More Plates, More Dates. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. I don't necessarily. So actually, in college, in one of my classes, right, we had like an end of the year paper, and it was sort of like, I forget exactly what the paper's called these days. It's been so long, but like you had to sort of argue two sides of a argument, and like I guess pick one in the end, but you had to sort of make the case for both. And I did steroids in baseball, and I ended up to the conclusion, I was like, I think steroids in baseball are a good idea, because at the end of the day, like the sport has to thrive and make money for it to be viable long term, and steroids just add another element of excitement and performance that draws people in.
Designer drugs.
Here, let's watch this. This actually be good to watch. So this guy's called More Plates, More Dates. He talks a lot about like steroids and stuff, and he's like really good. He like has his own clinic. He's got, you know, almost 2 million subs. Like he's real popular, and he's real good about what he talks about, right? And we can watch his stuff if you want. It's a interesting video.
or that are specifically made.
And he's specifically talking about LeBron James in a steroid cycle.
Made to pass these tests. Not only are they made to pass these tests, but they are.
And he's watching a Jimmy High Roller video too, I think. That's actually somewhere, well, coordination not per se, but like your reflexes for sure. I think steroids can help you. They've done studies where like steroids definitely help your like reflexes. And there's something, I'd have to go find it, but I think there was something about eye movement and like you're sort of like what's the neurological connection between like seeing and acting. People don't know, like steroids affect you in so many ways like that you don't even really know.
Constantly being reformulated and re-engineered to stay ahead of the testing curve.
Now, is anyone using things like the Clear or synthetic designer anabolics in the NBA? No, they're not. No one's shutting down their HPTA in order to use a designer anabolic steroid in the NBA. That would be dumb. However, you know, designer drugs like designer HGH products that have not the kilodalton variant that is literally the test is designed for, that is already inaccurate at picking it up. Now that's the kind of thing that would qualify as a designer drug in the NBA that might actually make sense to deploy.
Yeah, Jimmy High Roller. Yeah,
so guys, Derek, more PlaySmartAids.com. Today we're going to be talking about LeBron James and his speculated performance-enhancing drug use in the NBA. So this is a video that's been highly requested for years at this point on my channel, and it's been on my to-do list for a while. And interestingly enough, it seems like somebody actually got around to making a fairly comprehensive video on this already in 2018, and it's actually a pretty big channel. It's, I don't know, what, JXMY High Roller. So this is a channel that publishes a lot of NBA-specific content, and interestingly enough, he kind of delved.
So, like, no, I'm not saying steroids teach coordination, right? Like, steroids won't teach you how to shoot a basketball, right? Steroids won't teach you how to throw a baseball. But in terms of, like, batting, right? This was, like, the argument with Barry Bonds where, like, people would say, well, it makes you stronger. It doesn't necessarily make you better at hitting a ball. Yes and no, right? Like, it won't teach you how to bat, right? It's not going to make you better at learning the mechanics of swinging a bat or throwing a ball. But in terms of seeing a ball coming at you and your muscles being able, and I have to go look up the study, or maybe you can look it up yourself, but like in terms of your eyes seeing something and reacting to it, steroids actually do increase that performance slightly more, right? So like in basketball, I'm not sure how much that would carry over, but in baseball and hitting, you can definitely see where that would be an advantage, right? And so like in basketball, I don't know, you know, maybe more like, you know, like your body telling you to step over and take a charge. Like there could be a little bit of an advantage there that steroids or certain things could actually increase.
Into the speculation around LeBron's PED use, what he may have taken, what red flags were thrown.
Yeah, wasn't that yesterday, Ian? I thought I saw that yesterday. Isn't he a 4-star? Or did you guys get a 4-star and then another 5-star? Yeah, Bonds was good before steroids, absolutely, 100%.
Up, that would, you know, make you more inclined to believe that he may or may not have done something. I was like, damn, dude, like this guy already compiled.
So y'all got a 4-star and then the number 1? Is he? I'm guessing he's a 5-star if he's the number 1. Jesus Christ. Fuck you guys.
A lot of the information, so I felt like this is a great video to react to and then just kind of give my commentary on some of the actual scientific discussion behind the performance-enhancing drug selection. So I'm going to go through it with you guys. It's a good video, and I'll provide my commentary and interject where appropriate.
It seems like LeBron is not going to be slowing down anytime soon. In fact, it almost seems like he's getting...
And this video was 2 years ago.
Better. But how? What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy. And when it comes to sports, Father Time is still undefeated. One day, inevitably, every athlete will have to come to terms with the fact that they aren't who they used to be. Every athlete except LeBron James.
See, what's interesting is I remember playing, what year was he drafted? It was like 2003 or something. And I remember playing NBA Live. Was it 2003?
Yeah, 2002.
I don't remember, but it was whatever that year was. That NBA Live was like the sickest one. And I'm pretty sure it was one of the first ones with the dunk contest in it and stuff. And it was like the best draft class, because when you played in the rookie game, you got to have like the sickest lineup, and it was just a crazy year for like crazy draft picks. And of the guys in that class, LeBron is the only one that is still fucking killing it and not really slowing down. The other ones are either retired or like definitely not as good as their peak, whereas LeBron is still peaked as fuck. So that is, you know, a huge red flag in itself.
How has LeBron somehow transcended time, halted his aging process, and at one point even got more explosive as time passed? I mean, the man is a freak of nature, yes. He'll go down as one of the best athletes to ever touch a basketball. But there may be more to this story. Now, before I dive any deeper into this discussion, I want to make 3 things very clear. 1, I will be making some very bold theories within this video, but I'm not accusing anyone. Within this video, there will be facts that, when strung together, seem to point to a certain conclusion, but I don't have any proof nor any authority on the matter. 2, if you've been following my channel, you know LeBron James is my favorite player of all time. This is not a knock on my man Bron. This is just an analyzation of a timeline of events that seem to all lead back to the same conclusion. And 3, anytime I say the word in this video, I'm gonna censor it. Hey, people at YouTube, if you're watching this, nothing going on here. We're not talking about anything. Move along. Now, back when LeBron joined the league, there wasn't much speculation about his physical abilities. He was young, he was a physical specimen. But then the Miami era happened, and immediately people began to question what—
Yeah, I remember I mentioned this earlier. He went to Miami and he put on like 10 to 20 pounds of muscle. And my friends will tell you, right, like I'm pretty into working out. I mean, I definitely have like my ups and downs and like times I go through it, but from about whenever I got out of high school and I went to college, right, I was playing ball like every day, every other day, right, and it just wasn't the same competition, right? I went to like a smaller college, so like, you know, like as soon as I showed up, I was easily the best player on campus, like, and I don't say that to brag, I'm just saying like it wasn't a big school, right, in my opinion. There's maybe like 1 or 2 other guys who were like as good as me. And it just, like, the competition just wasn't that good, or not that good, but they just weren't, like, on that same kind of drive as me in terms of, like, I just wanted to play and win, and I was still in that sort of, like, mode, right? And so about 2, like, I guess my senior year, I actually went and played rugby at down in Galveston because, like, I needed a different outlet, right? I was kind of being that guy, and I was maybe kind of ruining the fun for everyone else in a way. And I just realized, like, it's not them, it's me. Like, I need to go do something else. And my uncle had always told me, like, I should go play rugby or try to play rugby because he saw the way I played basketball. Like, I was really aggressive. Like, for a little guy, I love to get down low and bang and shit like that. And so he told me, like, I should go try to play rugby. So I went and tried to play rugby and instantly, like, fell in love. I loved it. But the moment I started going to play and I was playing, like, with grown-ass men, I was like, dude, I need to get in the weight room. And I really wasn't, like, a big weight room guy up until that point. And that kind of started my journey. And there was for about 5 to 7 years there, I was in the gym like pretty consistently. Like I maybe within a 7-year period, maybe only took like a total of a couple months off. I was really dedicated to it. I got up to like 230, 240 at one point, you know, and I usually hover around like 200 normally, right? And, but I only say that to say, and I never took anything, right? I've done Anavar once here recently. I don't really care to like tell people. It doesn't bother me. I did it for like 3 weeks, right? Like here, just like in the last month or two, for the first time ever. But during that time, it was totally natural, just creatine and pre-workout and all that shit. Just like normal, not anything else that's like egregious or would be considered performance enhancing. But like you learn real quickly that there is a genetic limit to this, to working out and building a physique and stuff like that. And I say that also to people who like maybe don't understand what guys on steroids look like versus guys who aren't on steroids. Like go work out for 3 to 5 years consistently, like 4 or 5 days a week, get your diet right, do some conditioning, right? Now, I mean, I was playing rugby, right, which is about as great a conditioning as you can get. And go do that, right? And go see where you're at after 3 to 5 years, and you'll understand what it looks like to be natural versus on something, right? And it was probably one of the greatest, that probably was like one of the greatest lessons ever, was working out that consistently, because you look at all these guys on Instagram and on YouTube and stuff like that, and they tell you they're natural, and you go work out for 5 years, and then you come back and you look at those guys and you say, there is no fucking way all of these guys that claim that they're natural are natural, right? It's just impossible, right? It is impossible that all of y'all are in the top 0.01% of the genetic lottery, and you all hit it, and you all just happen to be doing the same thing, and you know, in terms of like making money on social media by being in the fitness industry, right? And you really kind of learn that like a lot of people are bullshitting and stuff like that, and they're not telling you the truth. And I think that's like the biggest problem is like, so like this guy here, More Plates, More Dates, right? He runs like a like hormonal clinic for men, right? So he admits, he's done like D-ball and tests and all that, but he'll tell you, and he'll tell you, this is what it's like. This is, you know, if I was you, would I do it? Well, here's reasons why maybe you should or should, right? Much more open and honest and transparent conversation. And so like a lot of times when you see these guys, like nowadays, if I go to the gym, I can probably tell you, I would think within like a 90% accuracy if someone has either done stuff in the past or is on something now. Much more than like back in the day, I just thought, oh, that guy's ripped and shredded, and he's like lean and he's got like a good physique. Like if I just keep working out and doing that, you know, I'll get there. And like you can get close, right? Like you can definitely get a good physique naturally that you're proud of, and you know, essentially, you know, a good looking physique and aesthetics, right? But the guys who just look like freaks most of the time, it's those guys I would almost guarantee you are on something. And so I was actually having this conversation with my buddy at work the other day. He's young, and he was thinking about getting into working out, and I was telling him there's a pyramid. And it's a good lesson I learned. There's a pyramid to this thing to let you know what it's like. You can either be big, strong, or shredded. You can be two of the three, but you cannot be all three naturally, right? It's just impossible. Jordan, I just went on a rant about like working out and like sort of filtering if guys are on something or not. You can just rewind it a couple minutes and play it at like 1.5 speed. And but I was telling him, I was like, if you want to be natural, right? There's a pyramid. You can be strong, you can be big, or you can be like cut and lean. But you can't be all three naturally. It's impossible. And so anytime you see these guys who get bigger and don't put on like any fat and they're just staying cut and lean, I would say within over a 90% probability they are on something. There are only 0.01% of the population in the world can just pick up weights, get bigger, get stronger, and stay lean. There's not many, there's only a handful of people out there who can do that. And the rest of the people who claim they can do that, they're probably on something. And so I just say that only to come back to LeBron at Miami. He put on like, I think it was like 20 pounds of muscle, maybe even more, didn't gain any fat. You know, that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. Just flat out not how it works. You cannot naturally put on muscle without also putting on some fat and getting bigger. And you can get stronger and you can get bigger, but you can't stay lean. And whenever guys stay lean and cut and get bigger and stronger, it's almost a surefire kill shot that they probably took some kind of performance enhancing drug or something.
What they were seeing, his muscle gain, his incredible recovery time.
Yeah, because like gaining muscle or cutting is all about calorie surplus or deficit, right? You want to put on muscle, you're going to have to eat above the calorie maintenance level of whatever you're trying to do, right? And so if you want to get bigger and stronger and put on muscle, you're going to have to go over that limit, and you're going to put on fat. It's just the way it is. And then that's almost literally why guys who like are in competitive shows, they get bigger and then they try to cut and they try to keep that muscle that they gained. And look, if you can only keep like 5 to 10% of muscle that you put on over a 6-month period and then get rid of the fat, that's pretty good, right? If you can put on a pound of 2 of lean muscle and keep the same fat percentage at the end of the year, that's pretty good. That is natural expectations, right? A pound or 2 of lean muscle, and maybe put on some fat, but then you're able to cut and keep a pound or 2 of lean muscle. That's normal. That's like optimal. And if anyone's putting on 10 to 20 pounds of muscle and staying lean and cut, they're on something, dude. Almost guaranteed.
Time and his ability to play night in and night out with almost no rest. Like usual, people assume the worst. Steroids. Damn. It hurts just to say the word in context with Braun, but let's first look at the facts. For NBA players, there are basically 3 major ways to enhance your physical performance. Steroids, thought to be the drug of choice of all professional athletes, but this is actually not the case for NBA players.
Yeah. So exactly, I was saying steroids are not what NBA players will be taking. They're going to be taking something more like an EPO.
When it comes to steroids, it's like how many choices do you really have when it comes to, random drug testing? How smart would it be to deploy a synthetic anabolic derivative of testosterone, which would be an anabolic androgenic steroid? It wouldn't be that smart in the NBA. In addition to that, a synthetic drug, you're going to want to look at bioidenticals. Like, you're not going to actually look at 99% of the steroids out there are not even going to be relevant in the discussion of viable compounds for performance enhancement in a intelligent athlete who may be up for random drug testing and is looking to enhance performance or recovery in the NBA. This would be a poor choice. If you're going to look at anything, it would be bioidentical testosterone at most from the anabolic agents subsection of compounds. The thing I find interesting is how he said there's only 3 things you're going to really look at, which is, I think this guy has no idea.
EPO, a naturally occurring hormone.
Yeah, EPO, there it is.
That stimulates the bone marrow to produce more red blood cells. Basically, it vastly improves your aerobic capacity.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
So yeah, anything that enhances your hematology profile essentially is going to lead to the same, outcome as what you would get from EPO. But there are different ways and different compounds that you can leverage in order to achieve and kind of like take advantage of this vector. It's not like EPO is the only thing that you can possibly use that is going to be able to enhance red blood cell production, enhance your hematocrit, etc. Like, there's other things you can actually leverage that some of them aren't being tested for, some of them are being tested for, but to narrow it into this one scope and be like EPO is the only thing that's relevant here is definitely not the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the only thing, but that was just an example of, like, people always think of steroids and they always think, he doesn't look that much bigger, but it's like, there's not just getting bigger. There are things to improve your vascular capacity that can make you run all day, right, without getting tired, and make your body much more efficient. Like it says, increases your red blood cell, which largely, yes, can help you with building muscle and whatnot, but largely affects like your aerobic capacity, your ability to recover and stuff like that.
HGH, otherwise known as the anti-aging serum. This helps regulate body composition, boost.
Another thing kind of said there is, like, you got to think about someone at LeBron's level. Let's say even if he's totally clean, guys like that in that realm, they know of stuff that we probably haven't even heard of yet, that probably won't get down to the public for like another 5 or 10 years. Or if something new does come out, they'll be the first guys to know, because A, they can afford it, B, they have the biggest sort of interest or reason to do it, right? As compared to someone like me, if you were to come and tell me, like, we have this new miracle drug, it'll cost you like 20 grand. Well, okay, I can't afford that, it's not worth it for me. But if you go tell some guy who's on the bench or trying to make the cut at some kind of pro team or something like that, there you have your motivation and your resources for someone to do that.
Muscle and bone growth, helps with recovery, and gives athletes a huge boost in energy.
Okay, so HGH, energy booster. Not really, dude.
No,
if you've ever used legitimate HGH, you'll know that, especially if you use high doses, it's like the thing that is released in highest quantity.
Maybe anti-aging. I could see like HGH like helping you keep your youth, but it doesn't like improve your endurance like an EPO. Like, it's not an energy booster like you said.
Quantities when you're sleeping. Like, this is not a hormone that really contributes to like adrenergic signaling or like high energy output. This is something that enhances
Yeah, Jacob, I was watching it, but we kind of got sidetracked. But I got it up here on the TV.
Recovery significantly, but it's not something that's a fucking pre-workout energy booster, that's for sure. It's not an androgenic hormone. It's not going to signal to your brain like aggression outcomes or anything like that. It's something that is going to enhance, like he said, bone growth, one of the main things, enhancing cartilage development, enhancing just reinforcing the structural integrity of the athlete. And encouraging longevity. That is essentially what this compound is most useful for. It's kind of like injury-proofing the athlete and hopefully extending their career. And
you, Jacob, you're not interested in the main fight? Emmett and Topuria. I think I don't know how to say it. Topuria. I think he looks good, man. I think he's due to keep climbing the ranks.
You know, avoiding injury and or expediting recovery, and ultimately leading to longer, you know,
Hey, Jordan Deeds, Jacob Waters in chat. That's the guy who hosted that debate you were talking about earlier, where Universe came on and ran.
Years playing that you can actually get high quality work output
Interesting.
from a lack of body just deterioration essentially. So, and as far as muscle growth, strength outcomes, anything like that, like maybe you might get some improved leverage in the gym from some of the temporary fluid and whatnot, but at the end of the day, there's no strength outcomes to be had from HGH use. There's no significant amount of protein expression that's going to come from its use that is going to take a guy who's not using concurrent anabolics with it and developing a crazy physique and more muscle than normal. A lot of it is just inflated, like fluff weight essentially. It's not actually building contractile tissue on its own. It can enhance processes that are eventually going to lead to improved protein expression and actual contractile tissue accrual, but it's not inherently a muscle building compound. And for guys in the NBA who aren't also leveraging anabolics along,
I think they used to be friends, but I don't. You have to ask Waters, but I don't think it's quite like that anymore. But I don't know. I can't speak for him.
Decided that is not the main goal of this compound. The main goal of this compound, like I said, is injury proofing the athlete and enhancing their longevity in the sport. So in LeBron's case, this would be one of the highest priority items of all of them. Now he's narrowed it down to 3 categories of compounds, and he is definitely not considering a lot of things. There are a lot of peptides that are not even being tested for. There's a lot of peptides with low detection times. There's a lot of cognitive enhancing agents that can enhance motor learning. There's a lot of shit you would use in the NBA that is available at your disposal to enhance a lot of things that are not related just to get big and fucking strong.
See, one of the biggest misconceptions when
that's what I was, you don't just have to get big and strong on steroids. There's other things you could do.
It comes to steroid or PED use is that athletes only take them to get swole or to increase their brute strength.
Exactly. So he's basically just saying what I just said, but he's, you know, overlooking many of the
peptides. Like he was talking about peptides here 2 years ago, and I just started kind of learning or seeing what peptides were like the last few months. So that's a good example of, like, you know, this guy and other people are way ahead of the curve on this stuff. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked too much into peptides. I don't know much about them. I mean, I guess some of the reviews and stuff are good.
Categories of compounds that would otherwise be used to enhance other neurological processes, upregulate recovery mechanisms. Like, there's a lot of shit that is not just confined to those 3 categories that he described.
And this is far from the truth. In the realm of basketball, steroids and PEDs can vastly help with recovery time, fat loss, healing after an injury, sustaining high energy levels, and increasing endurance.
Yeah, so obviously when it comes to PEDs, a lot of people, they just think, oh, you know, I don't know, big jacked guy. That's what they think. But in reality, like, you should know by now, if you've seen any of the, I don't know, like Icarus or anything, like you could have a guy who's a rail, like Lance Armstrong, and he's super saucy. You don't have to be a big jack guy to be on gear. There's a lot of processes that they upregulate in the body that don't just equal you look like a bodybuilder. You still have to eat and train to become looking like a bodybuilder, and it's a long, several-year process. And if you're using these compounds as complementary enhancement tools for your sport in particular, it's not like you're just going to become looking like a guy who's training for something totally different just because you're using a similar compound or something that is the same as a fucking, I don't know, linebacker or something, you know? So, you know, it's just a misconception that you think, oh, like anabolics equal this, or this compound equals this. And it's not the case, you know? You'd be surprised at some of the guys, at what some of the shit they use and what.
So, like, I guess when you say steroids for 1 month, like what, testosterone? Or, because if you take like test and tren and D-ball for like a month and you're taking like adequate doses, like, yeah, you can put on 5-10 pounds depending on your workout regimen, right? And if you're eating a fuck ton of protein and stuff like that, like, it's not crazy to think you could put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle and not necessarily a lot of fat. If you're getting with it, right? Like, yeah, you could see some significant differences within a month for sure. No doubt. You'll definitely notice your strength. Your strength will increase like the first day or two, which is pretty crazy. Like, for sure, you'll notice that difference. In terms of like an aesthetic difference, If you're really getting with it and stuff, like, yeah, you can notice within a month. Yes, you at the end of that month you will notice a difference for sure, and especially if you're taking like adequate doses, right? There's also the thing like, so one of the big things I learned is like I'm not an expert, right? But there's wet and there's dry steroids, right? So like a wet steroid is something that is going to allow you to pack on a lot of muscle, get really strong, but you are going to bloat up a little bit with water, right? You're going to like kind of call it like a puffy look, they say, right? And the reason why that is because like a wet steroid like testosterone or tren, I think as well, and D-ball, they retain water, but water is also very important for like gaining muscle and strength more than you know, right? And there's a lot of things that go with that too. And also it produces a lot of estrogen, right? So like you could get a lot of like high estrogen side effects, which I don't want, right? A wet steroid, I believe, is something more or less that does not produce estrogen and does not hold on to water as much, but you'll still get, it's considered like a dry or cutting steroid, as they call it, right? Like you don't hold as much water. It's hopefully going to help you. You don't necessarily burn fat faster. It's just that you don't get that puffy look. And if you're using that lifting, you're going to get stronger as well. Hopefully it's kind of more of like a body recomp kind of steroid, if that makes sense. That's kind of like the two big, in my opinion, the two big ways that steroids go. It's either like a wet or a dry steroid.
What their physiques actually look like as the outcome of those performance enhancing compounds. Like at the end of the day, in the NBA, some like the main things are.
There's studies like you can like not do anything and take steroids, and you might see a little bit of a difference at a month. So like medium effort, like what are we talking, like 3 days a week or 2 days a week you go work out. Again, like your diet is still important. Like steroids aren't like a magical bullet, right? That just is going to make you get a six pack and give you like that big V taper look. You still have to put in the diet and, you know, the work and stuff like that. But like, let's say 2-3 days a week, maybe let's just call it 3 days a week. You go work out and you're eating right. And, you know, you're like getting your steps in every day. And you're, at least when you go those 3 days, you have a good intensity. Like, yeah, you'll see some good results, for sure.
Being able to play more games, get more reps in.
Well, with the estrogen, right, it's like whenever you take tests, estrogen and tests are kind of like a yin and yang. And so if your test goes up, your estrogen goes up if it's like an aromatizing steroid, right? Which means that it's something like DHT or something. Again, I'm not an expert, but like if your test goes up, whatever you don't use or is just kind of staying in your body will be converted into estrogen, as far as I know.
And recover faster, stay injury free. Like,
yeah, dude, like it's not like, so I did Anavar for 3 weeks, and the reason I did Anavar is because it has the lowest side effects. It's really like there's not a whole lot of androgenic side effects, right? Like you don't get a lot of the secondary side effects of like, you know, balding, acne, stuff like that, right? It's definitely way on the lower end of steroids, right? So like that's why I tried it, and I was just interested to do it. And, you know, it was all right. Like I definitely felt stronger for sure. There's no doubt about that. But like, yeah, it's if you're worried about side effects and stuff, like then it's just not even worth it. Like it's just not even, if you're worried about that stuff, then like steroids are way overhyped for guys who work out. I think they think about it a lot once you work out for a while and you see other guys that are like jacked. And you're like, man, like I want to get like that. Like if it's not that important, dude. Like if you're like, unless you're going to enter in some competition or you're doing some strongman or something, or you know what I mean? Like if you're purely there for aesthetic reasons or whatever, it's just not worth it, right? Like it's just like, just go work out, get your diet right. Like you'll be fine. You'll get a good physique if you put in the work.
We're not trying to get to 300 pounds of muscle and eat up our oxygen capacity because we're carrying more muscle than we otherwise need. Like there are different priorities in different sports for different things. And obviously in the NBA, getting massive as fuck is not the priority.
Yes, they'll make you stronger, but there's
like some websites you can buy steroids if you look hard enough. You train 5 days a week for 45 minutes in 2 minutes. Like that's like on the higher end of like effort and time. 5 days a week. And again, it's those 45 minutes. If you're hitting it hard, 45 minutes is all you need. There's a guy named Mike Metzer, an old school bodybuilder. I mean, he was like a believer in only doing like one set per week. You know, like there's some guys who have like some crazy theories out there, and he had a good physique. He was in Mr. Olympia and shit. So like 45 minutes if you're getting with it, 5 days a week, that could be more than enough, you know?
In the case of basketball players, that is more than likely the last reason why they'd be using PEDs. Now, back to our story. In Miami, LeBron became more than just a freak of nature. In fact, he became suspiciously inhuman. He gained 25 pounds of almost pure muscle, and he just didn't look the same. Add that to the fact...
That's not natural, bro. How old was LeBron when he went to Miami? He was 26. At the age of 26, you don't just start, you know, like your test levels don't start going up and stuff like that. Like that's just not natural.
Fact that he only missed 14 games in 4 seasons in Miami, and this is where eyebrows begin to raise.
Okay, so did he gain 25 pounds of contractile tissue throughout his career? Highly doubtful. I'm sure if I went back, I would not. I guess at his height, how it was distributed, maybe, but a lot of this is just like temporary.
And again, cardio does the cardio that LeBron does for like basketball. Now doing like Stairmaster or like 15-minute warm up on the treadmill or doing the bike for 10 minutes, like that's okay. That won't necessarily hurt your muscle gain, but doing like playing basketball and working out like LeBron probably did in the off season for 3-4 hours a day or something, you cannot just get huge like that. You know what I mean? If he's doing cardio and stuff like that and he's keeping his conditioning up, there's no way you put on 25 pounds of muscle in an off season or in a year.
Like it's not actual dry contractile tissue. Like you would look like a totally different human with another 25 pounds of muscle on you. So I would be skeptical of that claim, but I do understand where the 25 pounds of lean mass claim would be a bit more relevant, I think.
While his draft class peers and teammates began to slow down, LeBron was getting faster. Rolls his ankle, back the very next game like nothing ever even happened. Plays night in and night out, doesn't miss a beat, not once. And people were taking notice. Some of the effects to HGH use, muscle gain, hair loss, and...
Okay, so looking at hair loss, this is something a lot of people wanted me to make a dedicated video on, is his hair loss. So you have to understand though, like this is a post that I've had for a while. Name a comeback more epic than LeBron's hairline. He wears a hair system as far as I know. Like I've seen clips of him and it like falling off in the middle of the game and him like pushing it back on. A lot of this is just age and androgens. You know, if you're prone to baldness, and which is like every fucking person, it's gonna happen. And the rate at which it happens is going to depend on AR density in the scalp, expression, levels of endogenous androgens in the scalp, and overall gene expression that's being regulated by all these mechanisms. And this is ultimately a genetically determined process that you can intervene with pharmacology-wise to actually get in front of it and reduce the HG levels and whatnot to inhibit hair loss and kind of keep...
Yep, you ask anybody in the sport, like baseball too, right? They say everyone's on steroids, you know? Like, it's not crazy to think in basketball over 50% of guys are on something, right? Even if it's just Adderall. Let's say Adderall on the low end, right? At least Adderall, I would say, if that's the low end, that's where we set the bar as Adderall and above. I would say probably over 50% of people in the NBA are on something.
What you have, but for him, like, I don't think...
For sure the NFL, dude, not even close. I think baseball in the NFL, probably over 75% in the pros, I would think.
If you see a guy in his 30s losing hair, like this isn't such an uncommon thing that it's like, oh, it's definitely steroids. It's like, dude, I know people who were balding at fucking 18. So with totally natural. It comes down to your genetics, and ultimately, I think it was probably just his time to start balding.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Ren, is like basketball guys aren't taking stuff to bulk up. They're taking stuff to run, you know, longer, harder, faster. They're not taking stuff to like get big. In basketball specifically. Doesn't mean they're not on something.
I don't necessarily think that anabolic steroids significantly expedited anything. I think he was just balding, and that's his genetics. But I understand when people see this, they just, you know, they're associating it with what they're speculating and using it as a reinforcing justification. But the thing that's interesting, though, is how I feel like in this video, he's being singled out a bit for something that a lot of guys in the league have access to. It's not like this shit is prohibitively expensive to the point where only LeBron would be able to afford it, and yet it's making it seem like every other superstar does not have access to this because they're not recovering the same way he is. And I'm like, tons of fucking dudes are using the same shit. There's like, so either...
Yeah, that's where it's like, there's no doubt LeBron is a genetic freak, right? There's no doubt about that, right? And all the guys in the NBA are probably taking stuff too, but he is still, you know what I mean? Like, all things being equal, LeBron is still in the 0.01% of genetics, right? But again, the whole thing about going to Miami, putting on 25 pounds of muscle, that's just not natural. I don't care who you are, you're never going to convince me otherwise.
Like, it's a lot of this is going to come down to LeBron's. Everyone's using shit, so it's like LeBron being able to recover faster than other people is a token to his genetics and his response potentially to the drugs, as well as just his adherence to being committed to being the best player he can and maximizing his injury recovery time and all of his, staying on point, with his diet, his lifestyle, everything. So it's not like he's the only dude that has access to some of the shit, like, it's not that hard to get.
Cramping. The NBA knew they needed to look further into this. Back in 2013, an investigation into a steroid clinic in Miami found that a man by the last name of Paul would come to pick up products for a man with the initials LJ. LeBron's initials are LJ, and his agent's name is Rich Paul. This is the same clinic that in 2013 outed numerous MLB, NBA, and NFL players for their steroid use. Also,
I forgot about this, or I don't remember this.
Lady that worked at the clinic, specifically their financial transfers, says that many of her coworkers are 100% sure that LJ was LeBron. But as much as you could connect the dots, this is all just speculation. However, this wasn't even the most suspect PED-related event in Bron's career. Back in 2014, when LeBron rejoined the Cavs, you may recall him not looking or playing the same as years past. He had to cut all that weight he gained while in Miami and was back to 250 pounds. He said he felt better than ever. Yet, as the season got started, it was clear that he wasn't the same athlete. He wasn't as explosive or strong as he was just one season prior. And, well, that's pretty normal, I guess. Time goes along, athletes get slower, and you may find a way to get an extra hop in your step, such as losing weight. But
I hate those fucking breathing masks, dude. I don't know why. That's one of my biggest, pet peeves of, workout fads or trends are these fucking masks, dude. I hate it.
Just so happens that around the same time period, the NBA...
Maybe they actually work. I mean, maybe you get a little percentage increase, but I don't know, man.
NBA was pushing to reform their testing on steroids and PEDs. It is speculated that LeBron had to fast and rid his system of all those performance enhancers he was taking over those past few years.
Dude, do you think drug clearance takes 2 years? No. The shit he's using, if it took that long to get out of his system, there's no chance he would ever use it. You're subject to random testing in the NBA. However lax it is, you're still subject to random testing potentially. I believe right now it's 4 tests in the offseason, 4 in the season and 2 in the offseason, and half of those can be HGH tests. So it's 2 in the regular season and then 1 HGH test in the offseason. And then obviously if there's reasonable cause to assume that you're using something because, I don't know, they've been tipped off or whatever, then you might get tested more than that. But it's there's no guarantee you're going to get tested, first of all. They do a certain amount of tests, and they're randomized.
Yeah, so this was, I was telling that story about the guy I knew who, and he played it, he was on, they have the summer team. He was on the Knicks for a while, and that's when, and Ren's actually met him, so, Ren Sports in the chat, he's actually met him, so I'm not bullshitting, but he said essentially everyone in the NBA smokes weed, right? And the thing is, in the offseason specifically, and the thing is that they get, like he said, they get that one test in the offseason, essentially. So once you get tested, you're good to go, right? In terms of, smoking weed. I know recently the CBA changed, I think, where, they don't test them for weed anymore, but this is before that. So, again, they know, once they get tested in the offseason, right, they're good to go. And he said everyone smoked weed in the NBA. So, again, to think that guys would take the risk of smoking weed but not take something that actually is going to benefit them on the court, make them millions of dollars, and keep them relevant, I would find that hard to believe that they don't take something, if they think, especially if they think they can get away with it. And like he says, they know the testing procedure. If they're only testing you twice during the season, I mean, think about it. Let's say the season is from what? October to, let's just call it, May, from the regular season, and you're only getting tested twice within that, and most steroids are out of your system within a couple weeks tops, if not sooner, right? To think that if a quarter of the way through the season I got a drug test, and I know that I probably have 2-3 months maybe before I get tested again, at least 2 months, you could easily take something right after you get tested the first time. And as long as you're smart about it, like he said, and you're not being dumb about it and throwing up red flags, like, you could easily get away with it.
And you could go like a shit long time without getting tested, but still, in 2 years, like, you would never ever use something that's not going to be out of your system very, very quickly. This is like saying he had like nandrolone decanoate in his system from 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was his brother, yeah.
Like, why the fuck would you ever use that drug to begin with? Like, you wouldn't. No sane person would ever recommend to use a drug that takes more than a few fucking...
Dude, he's like 6'8", 6'9", yeah, like, and Wesley Snipes dark. I always think of Wesley Snipes because of that Chappelle show. Whenever Charlie Murphy's talking, and he's like, see, you know, he called us darknesses because this is before Wesley Snipes. We were the darkest brothers around. Like, he was like that.
Literally days. You would not use something that takes more than even hours, ideally, you know? So I don't get what this is even, who's speculating this, you know? This makes no sense whatsoever scientifically.
Again, this is speculation though, not fact. But then during the middle of the season, LeBron took 2 weeks off while the Cavs were struggling to go back to Miami to revitalize and rejuvenate. Now, is it just a coincidence that LeBron went down to
See, that is shady as fuck.
Miami in the middle of the season because he needed some mental and physical rest? Possibly. And while this wouldn't be so hard to believe if LeBron didn't come back from the trip more explosive and energized than ever before. It just doesn't add up. Sure.
Yeah, so he probably went and got a bunch of peptide injections, probably got a bunch of rehabilitation stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of it was performance enhancing.
No,
some of the shit is not
an
even being
energy
tested
drink.
for. BPC 157, one of the best injury recovering agents.
Oh, Charlie Murphy did die, huh? Fuck.
Not being tested for. There's a lot of this shit that's totally legal within the rules that can help you as an athlete still to use. And then a lot of the shit that is very useful, there are not actual good tests yet even developed to detect them within a reasonable time frame. So it's pretty obvious that a lot of guys are using a lot of this stuff.
Sure, LeBron spends $1.5 million on his body every year. Yes, he takes his health and wellness very seriously, but so do most professional athletes. I know LeBron is the definition of a freak of nature, but aren't most pro athletes incredible athletes in their own right? And
yeah, so like, are we implying that he's literally the only guy who has access to like some specialty fucking drug center that has special drugs just for LeBron and no one else can get them? Like, obviously not. Everyone's using the same shit. If they know about it or have good advisement or, you know, it kind of depends. And it depends on the budget and the access and the connections. And
Ian, you know my like they say real estate, right? Location. When it comes to the channel, man, content. It doesn't have to just be sports related, you know? Yeah, you should do it for sure. Just know what you're gonna say. I guess it's your first beer review, so get your buzzwords ready.
A lot of stuff, but ultimately it's not like LeBron is the only top athlete that has access to a lot of very well-known compounds, some of which aren't being tested for. So probably everyone's using a lot of the same shit.
And don't a lot of them spend an immense amount of time and money on their health and wellness? Why is LeBron the only player that can play 82 games in his 15th season, lead the league in minutes played, average better numbers than he ever has in his entire career, and not sustain even a minor injury?
Because he's the best fucking player in the world. Like,
now I have a new conspiracy, right? Did Jordan retire to go to baseball, or maybe he thought he could take roids for 2 years and get better? I don't know. Who knows now? And that way he could come back and still be youthful.
That's why, dude. Everyone is doing. That's like saying, why does Phil Heath take however many grams of steroids, and then Joe Blow down your street takes the exact same cycle and looks like goddamn dog shit? It's because of genetics. One is a fucking specimen and one isn't, and that's what's going to determine how they respond to drugs and or how they perform, even irrespective.
Yeah, Ren, I mean, that's kind of my point is, like, I think a bunch of guys are on stuff, right? Don't get me wrong, like, they're already all, like, 6'6", 6'8", 6'9" freaks with, you know, 30, 40-inch verticals, right? But, like, to think that they're not taking some kind of, like, aerobic enhancer, right, that allows them to play... Dude, like, I remember we like, in high school, you'd play tournaments, right? And you'd play, like, 3 games, maybe, or, like, 2 games in a day, maybe. And you play 2 games the next day if you're lucky and you kept winning. And, like, you'd be fucking gassed. And that's in high school, right? These guys are, like, 30, 35 years old. And they're still, like, they're playing like they're 16, you know? Like, it's crazy to think about from that perspective, you know, on an 82 game season.
Perspective of the drug. The same reason LeBron is the best, phenom athlete ever is the same reason he has better longevity than a lot of other guys.
There just seems to be a missing piece to this equation. And again, I am the biggest LeBron fan there is. Growing up, the guy was my idol. I mean, I shaped my whole game around his.
A lot of this is luck too. Like, it's not like if somebody has an injury and they fall on their leg weird or something, it's not like your access to drugs like made you not fall weird. You know what I mean? Like, obviously athleticism and a lot of shit comes into play, but if you're in the air and get blindsided by some guy flying through the fucking air and like hits you out of your dunk or some shit and you fall on your neck and fucking break it, it's, a lot of this comes down to luck too. And he's just fortunate that he hasn't encountered a career-ending injury or something. And he's also a very durable player, and he clearly invests a lot of resources into ensuring he's as durable as possible. So yeah, that probably involves some sort of drug use. However, it also is his genetics and his lifestyle and his genetic response to all of the factors mentioned already.
And to this day, he is still by...
Yeah, this guy makes some good content on like, he kind of focuses on like, hormones and like drugs and steroids and stuff. He used, I think in his early days, before I ever knew of him, he did like pickup artist shit. And he kind of does like he's like more in the men's health realm, but like he knows his shit for sure. He runs his own clinic, so he's not an idiot.
Far my favorite player in the league. In fact, he's my favorite athlete of all time. But sometimes you just have to critically think about these things. And I want to be clear, steroids don't just make you a great athlete. Your average basketball player can't just take steroids and instantly become an NBA player. But what PEDs can do is push you that extra little bit, that almost seamlessly insignificant amount that can push a great player to a phenomenal player. Now, you may be thinking, if LeBron was using performance-enhancing, the NBA would have caught on to him a long time ago. And you may be correct. But consider this, there are two main types of tests: blood testing and urine testing. Urine testing being the test of choice since traces of these performance-enhancing linger around longer in the urine than they do in the blood. Or something like that. I'm not a scientist. In order to catch an athlete using a PED, a lab would first have to know the exact makeup of that, its metabolites. Basically, a testing lab can only identify if a PED was used if they first know it exists.
So right now we're talking about synthetic compounds using gas chromatography with mass spectrometry, which is not really relevant to even the...
What the fuck? What?
Compounds. Well, the main compound...
I think he's essentially saying, like, making up something synthetically, like, kind of, it will keep you ahead of the testing curve in a way.
That we'd be talking about is HGH, which would be detected using an isoform test. This is not something you're going to use a urine analysis with GCMS. You're going to be looking for synthetic metabolites, nandrolone, fucking boldenone, dianabol, stuff like this, all that kind of shit, stimulants, beta-2 agonists, fucking diuretics, whatever the fuck. You're gonna be looking for all this shit in the urine. Yeah, but the main thing that I think most NBA athletes are leveraging is human growth hormone, which is essentially undetectable despite the fact that they claim that it is scientifically, sound, which, to be honest, it is sort of sound. The problem is the detection time is so short that it's basically impossible to catch anyone. And in addition to that, they're using an isoform ratio to detect exogenous HGH administration, which can be easily manipulated when HGH is not that hard to manufacture nowadays, and it's not that hard to find manufacturers who are potentially able to manipulate the isoform profiles and ratios in order to be congruent with beating any drug test at any fucking time, regardless if they showed up right at the correct time or not. And even if they showed up, at the correct time, the NBA testing parameters are set up in such a silly way where you can essentially get around it anyways. Like, this is the NBA collective bargaining agreement, and in, the anti-drug program, you'll find in the random drug testing section, testing. So as you know, in the season, you can get tested 4 times randomly, up to 4 times. You might get not even tested though. So,
see, I'd like to know the average test per player, and if someone is a great player or a good player, is the average more or less? Like, that would be interesting to know. Like, do guys who make the All-Star team or average over 20 points a game, just whatever, right? Do they happen to get tested more or something like that? Or, like, do guys who look, does a testing agency look at someone like Giannis and go, we should test him over, some guy who's like the 12th guy on the bench or whatever, right?
There's that. And then of the tests that you get randomly tested, you can be tested up to 2 times for growth hormone. And in the offseason, you can be tested up to 1 time for growth hormone. And the detection...
See, the offseason, that's huge, dude. Only 1 time during the offseason? That's nuts. Like, that's when people would be doing it, I think, the most if they know they're only going to get tested once. But then again, I guess you're only worried about, you know, when they're actually playing, right? You want to keep it as natural as possible.
Time is fucking low, very, very low. And when it comes to random drug testing, during each season, the NBA will conduct no more than 1,525 total tests. During the offseason, the NBA will conduct no more than 600 total tests. Now, the interesting thing is,
that's kind of interesting,
is even if you say no to getting drug tested, you can actually still just chill and let the compound clear out of your system, which is kind of fucked up, and I didn't even realize till I looked into this. So basically, where is the thing here? If a player refuses to submit to a test or cooperate fully with the testing process without a reasonable explanation satisfactory to the medical director or the SPED medical director for testing under the SPED program only provided, however, that the NBA will use its best efforts, A, to have the drug testing collectors immediately notify the NBA when any player refuses to submit to a test or cooperate fully with the testing process, and B, to provide such information to the Players Association as soon as possible thereafter, and provided further that C, following any player's refusal to submit to a test or failure to cooperate fully with the testing process, the drug testing collector shall wait 90 minutes at the collection site, and D, if the player submits to the test and cooperates fully with the testing process within the 90 minutes, then his earlier refusal or failure to cooperate shall be excused, and the test shall not be deemed positive under this section. So hypothetically, if you pinned your HGH, and this is like the 22 kilodalton isoform that most people are probably using, or at least people with less connections are probably using. Let's just say hypothetically you get randomly selected, you just fucking chill there and wait for adequate clearance. Like how, there's a reason why nobody has tested positive for the HGH ever in the NBA. Like if you actually go look at.
Yeah, right. Like, come on, dude. You're telling me nobody's ever like taken it or no, that's kind of crazy.
The 35 times people have been suspended in the NBA for drugs, what did it include? Cocaine, substance abuse, banned substance back in '99. I don't even know what that was for, but anyways, banned substance, phentermine, DHEA.
That was Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson was one of the banned substances. Richard Dumas, I remember that name, but I don't. His face doesn't come to mind.
Primobolan, which is interesting. Let's see, but this is back in 2013. Novadex, tamoxifen, selective estrogen receptor modulator. DHEA, again. Marijuana. LGD, 4033. Let's see.
Joaquin Noah. I didn't know all this. This is crazy. I guess I just didn't remember.
Pamarelin, GHR.
I think that's a SARMs. What are you saying? That LG33, that's a SARMs, which SARMs is a selective androgen receptor module or modifier or something like that. Essentially, like helps your androgen receptors, which is largely how like steroids work. They bind to your androgen receptor. It's something's like it increases your. It's supposed to help testosterone better grip onto your androgen receptors or something like that. It's not like quite. It is a steroid, but it's not like quite the same as taking a steroid.
P2, ipamarelin, diuretic, peptide. So again, these guys would have been way better off using bioidentical GH. And no one's tested positive for GH, dude. How many people have tested positive for GH since the isoform test even was invented? Not very many. Like, it has been minimal, to the point where you have guys who are admitting they took GH and still weren't detected, like Mirko Krokop. So that's just to show how, despite the fact that some of this stuff is being tested for, unfortunately, it's not really adequate and satisfactory in order to actually catch these guys using this stuff. So even if it, and to be like, I don't give a fuck if they use whatever they use, to be honest. Like, I think this stuff should all be legal. If you can use something to prevent you from getting injured and to improve your injury recovery time and make it less likely that you snap a fucking ankle, like, by all means, dude. But at the end of the day, the testing parameters for some of this stuff is subpar still, to the point where it might as well be irrelevant, to be honest.
So if a PED is untested and unknown, the athlete taking it can and will get away with using it. This is important because of one thing: designer drugs, or that are specifically made to pass these tests. Not only are they made to pass these tests, but they are constantly being reformulated and re-engineered to stay ahead of the testing curve.
Now, is anyone using things like the Clear or synthetic designer anabolics in the NBA? No, they're not. No one's shutting down their HPTA in order to use a designer anabolic steroid in the NBA. That would be dumb. However, you know, designer drugs like designer HGH products that have not the kilodalton variant that is literally the test is designed for, that is already inaccurate at picking it up, Now that's the kind of thing that would qualify as a designer drug in the NBA that might actually make sense to deploy. There are other things that can enhance your hematology profile, like I said, that they're not testing for, things that are not just your basic EPO. So there's a lot of different ways, different vectors that people are leveraging from what I suspect that aren't the traditional what you would think when you think of designer Frankenstein like steroid drug like the Clear. That's not what people are doing, in my opinion, in this sport in particular.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of money. You can literally get performance-enhancing tailored to your specific needs. Also, the NBA is known for having the worst testing and test protocol of all professional sports.
I don't know about that. It's not great at all. It's not very good, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's the worst, to be honest.
It always has and probably always will.
Like, I guess in certain ways you could argue, yeah, but in other ways you could argue that it's not the worst. But anyway.
In the last 10 years, only 6 NBA players have been caught using performance-enhancing drugs. Over that same time period, 43 MLB players have been caught using PEDs or steroids. I mean, in 2014 alone, the NFL suspended 29 players for using PEDs before the season even started. And let's be honest.
You also have to consider the choice of compounds, though. You're pretty much lumping PEDs all into one category. Is what you're going to use for football going to be the exact same thing you'd use for golf? Is it the same thing you'd use for fucking archery? No, like you're not going to use a fucking beta blocker in the NFL. So comparing one league to another, it's like, yeah, some of the testing parameters might be looser in terms of how often they're testing, if it's random or not. Yeah, but in addition to that, you have to understand that some compounds, it's like, what sport gets the most positive tests? Like, I'm actually pretty sure it's archery off the top of my head, because some of the compounds they need to use are just more detectable. If they're synthetic compounds that are more detectable, and that's what they need in order to enhance their performance for their sport, that becomes a harder thing to get around. Whereas in the NBA, if the main thing that would help is HGH, which is like the hardest fucking thing to test for, like why do you think so little people are popping? It's because they can't even fucking test for what they're using. So I think there's that plays into it too, is the actual drug selection for the sport in particular. Like what you need as a linebacker does not equate to what you need as a point guard, obviously.
The amount of money that's on the line, how many athletes are willing to take performance-enhancing to get even a slight edge? Somehow LeBron has defied all notions of time and regression as if he's somehow immune to it. But he isn't. He's human, just like the rest of us. Which leads me into my last point. Even if the NBA knew LeBron was on some sort of performance enhancement, I honestly don't think they would do anything about it. LeBron has surpassed superstar status. He is a sports icon. He brings in an absurd amount of revenue to the league, and he's everything you could want in a role model.
That too. There's a lot of financial motivation behind some of the reasonable, cause for testing people. Maybe you don't want to go after a guy who is one of your biggest money makers. That's a very logical conclusion, and I believe probably plays a strong deciding factor in who gets tested, because you have to think too, in the NBA, you're not even guaranteed to get tested, even though it's random. The randomization is, who knows if it can be politically motivated or not? Who knows if it's something that, maybe you won't even get fucking tested for the entire year. Maybe there's a way to know that beforehand. You don't know. It's not like this shit is published for us to find out. So yeah, that is definitely correct. And it seems like the NBA, definitely could step up a lot in their drug testing parameters if they wanted to be taken a bit more seriously in this area.
A family man, great leader and teammates. In 15 years, he's never had any off-the-court issues. He's just as much of an asset to the league as he is to his team. And I truly think the NBA would avoid ruining his career by any means necessary. He simply means too much to the sports and to the business that is the NBA. But, I mean, we have to ask ourselves, does it even matter? The reason we pay to watch NBA games instead of going to our local rec gym and watching some scrubs play is because NBA players are big and strong and fast. They do things we could only dream of doing. And at the end of the day, the NBA is just a league for entertainment. Yes, for the players, it's more than that, but for us fans, that's what it boils down to. So I ask myself, if I am being entertained, does it really matter what's going on behind the scenes? I think what this guy commented pretty much sums this entire theory up. I want to watch superheroes play basketball, not regular people. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
Yeah, so that was a good video. Had a lot of good points in it. The actual pharmacology information obviously lacking a bit, as well as the drug test parameters, and that's kind of where my expertise comes in more. But overall, I understand the points, and I also agree, if I'm being entertained in a sport where it's not like they're trying to actually kill each other and take off each other's heads or anything. What do I care if a guy's using some fucking HGH to not have to improve bone integrity? Why would it bother me? I want these guys to stay healthy and perform. So that would be my logic as a NBA, I don't know, commissioner dude, whatever the fuck the position would be. So that is my stance on it. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Please subscribe if you want to get more deep dives into.
Very cool. Let's see, get this back. Yeah, that guy's got a good channel though. Let's see here. Let's get this back like it was. And I think the main fight's coming up.
Champion. Scars make a man. Since I was a kid, I lived without my parents, and now I have my son. His name is Topuria. He's 3 years old. I have to give him a bright future, and I have to work for it. Every day I wake up, I say to myself, you have 2 options right now. keep dreaming with your dreams or wake up and make it reality. I choose the second option always.
Oh, wow! The walk-off KO for Ilia Topuria.
My goal is to be the #1 in the world.
Oh, big ground strikes from Topuria. Ilia Topuria has knocked Ryan Hall out cold.
I'm gonna show there is no one in front of me.
This kid has a ton of hype around him. It is justified.
Ilia Topuria is a straight-up assassin.
This kid is a finisher.
Whoa! He tapped. Wow! Unbelievable.
Still undefeated.
Ilia's an up-and-comer. He's young, he's hungry. He hasn't fought anybody like me. I feel like I can beat the best guys in the world. I beat the best guys in the world. I beat guys in the top 10, the top 5. He's young, he feels invincible. But he's gonna be in a world of hell when we fight.
Oh!
I'm gonna get something to drink real quick.
He's in the toughest fight of his life.
He already made the biggest mistake, and it was to accept the fight. Can't even compare his skills with mine, because I'm going to be a superstar, a legend in this sport. I'm gonna knock him out quickly.
I'm gonna do what I'm trained to do, what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna go in there and win. I will get my hand in this.
The biggest career moment to date has officially arrived for Ilia Topuria's 6th UFC appearance, 5-0 out of the chute. This is a lifelong martial artist. Dad got him in jiu-jitsu at 4. Born in Germany, moved to the nation of Georgia when he was 7. Now calls Spain home. DC, this man travels all over the world in search of great training. He seeks perfection in training. And tonight, in front of a global audience, he will look to prove that he should be next for a world title.
Yeah, this kid's tremendous. I mean, this is a guy that has an entire country behind him, John. Spain, they love him. This guy represents his country, and he represents his country on the world stage at the highest level the right way. We have never seen him get beat. He carries this intensity about him that's a little bit different than most of these young fighters. He is sure that at some point he will wear a UFC championship belt. And why would you not be sure? When you possess these types of skills, he is an A+ striker. He is an A+ grappler. He has all the skill to be the best in the world, but it was about opportunity. He finally gets an opportunity to fight one of the best in the world. Massive spot tonight for Ilia Topuria.
I mean, of 13 fights, he's got 12 of them that are finishes.
Right.
Incredible. And 9 in the first round. So with all that being said, you look at that and you go, man, are all these submissions happening because he's knocking them out on their feet first and then he just strangles them easily? Or is he just taking people down and that good on the ground? Well, I'll tell you what, it's both. He can out-grapple you and not punch you, and he can also just punch you and not grapple you and find a way to win. He's the best in both of these martial arts, and that's why this fight's happening with Josh Emmett, because he also fills those gaps. He's extremely hard to take down. He's like a cinder block. How do you hurt a cinder block? Well, Ilia Topuria is the answer. He might be the cement that holds it all together.
And we cannot overstate, and DC and Dom can both speak to this as two of the greatest mixed martial arts athletes of all time, how hard it is in this setting to preserve an undefeated record. This is a 26-year-old who has picked up exactly where he left off regionally in the UFC, methodically getting better with every passing fight. 4 consecutive finishes made him undeniable for this first UFC main event, and now he gets his crack at a former interim world title challenger in Josh Emmett. This is the litmus test, DC.
Yeah.
Tonight we get answers.
Absolutely. All these young fighters, they build these great resumes, and then there comes a moment where they have to step up, where they have to exceed maybe even the expectation of the people around them. This is the time for Ilia Topuria. If he can get this done, and if he can do this impressively, he will be on a short list of guys that can be calling to fight the champion Alexander Volkanovski, because Alexander has reigned over this division for so long, especially if he gets past Jair.
Topuria has talked a lot about his confidence and how it comes from the work ethic. He seems only worried about Josh Emmett's hooks tonight and nothing else. We shall see.
Benjamin High Roller. You and Ian gonna play some FIFA or what? Just in case that song gets me a copyright. Who knows, maybe it already did. No? Okay. Yeah. We know Diet Dr. Pepper's listening. Every time I crack open a can, I'm sure the algorithm picks it up. Yeah. Ian, are you there right now? Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty cozy right now. I definitely want to watch this fight too. Yeah, so like on the copyright, I was texting you right now, but so like that more plates, more dates guy, right? He's like, his videos aren't like gonna get picked up in the algorithm, more or less, right? Compared to like, if you just play, you know, the Avengers movie, you can't just be like in the bottom corner, like not doing anything, and have that be altering it enough to like get around copyright law, right? Like YouTube has a massive library of like copyrighted content. It's like all popular movies, TV shows, music, etc. A guy making his own videos isn't going to be in their library, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. So like live sports and stuff like that, like that's all copyrighted material that you can't replay or repost. But like, and also like even the Jimmy High Roller videos, right? I can do those because I'm fairly certain like he uses copyright free music. It's like his own personal video kind of thing, and it's not going to get flagged down. Now, if I just uploaded his videos and I didn't put myself in it or anything like that, he himself could come by and see that I'm just replaying his videos without any alteration and say like, you know, request that YouTube take the video down, right? It won't, I don't think it'll necessarily just get picked up in the algorithm, like let's say playing an NBA game itself. But if he came along and saw it and he was like, hey, this guy's just replaying my content, you know, he can request YouTube to take it down, and we would get like a copyright strike for that. So it all just kind of depends. Like the smaller creators and stuff like that, guys who make their own movies, it's not just going to get automatically picked up in the algorithm. It's crazy how accurate and quick the algorithm is too. It's pretty nuts. Dude, what's good about this live streaming stuff, like I said, is like now I can, whenever this video's done uploading, I can just go download it, and then I can just easily clip out a separate video like titled "Do LeBron and Athletes Take Steroids?" And now we just have like another 20-minute video that we can just easily upload, and it took like no extra work. That's one of the good things I like about doing live too. All right, here we go.
Standing here in front of each other. Can we do this now?
All right, this fight clock is brought to you by Toyo Tires, official tire
Emmett
of
and Topuria.
UFC. Josh Emmett in black pressing forward. Ilya Topuria shelled up in
Topuria.
Emmett started really quick. A lot of times when you
Emmett being the aggressor.
Show them right away they don't
Although
belong.
Topuria is controlling the center.
Trying to do that with Topuria.
Also, by doing that, coming first against Topuria, feel the speed.
Emmett's coming at him with some combos, but not really landing anything flush. All punches.
Like, hey, I will not take a back step to you.
Topuria is still controlling the center, though.
You're trying to make your way here.
Right. I think the weapons for Topuria are going to be that left uppercut.
So like I started all over on the Magic the Gathering arena, so you kind of have to go through like these trials to like build up cards in a deck. So I'm kind of just doing the basic stuff right now, and then hopefully I'll get into like building an actual deck and playing people online.
Emmett needs to be very careful with lunging.
I'm like doing all the side quests kind of thing. I have to kind of redo them. Couldn't remember my account that I used to have. No, it's not a live tourney. It's just like the beginner stuff. Ooh, they exchange a little bit.
Topuria's made the read on Emmett's jab. He came over the top with the right hand, over the top of Emmett's jab. When you see that land, you know he's got the timing of Emmett's lead hand now.
Oof. They're exchanging some heavy blows, but not really landing. They're swinging for the fences.
Yep. Just trying to make him the nail tonight. Josh trying to show him that right away with the power shot. Beautiful left hook there.
Emmett lands a little bit of a left hook.
Gotta be very careful dipping his head though. Oh,
Topuria lands a right hook.
It's a big right hand for Topuria. Perhaps the most significant strike on either side thus far.
Yeah, Yeah, the difference in the punching here is the hand speed and the combinations. When you see Emmett throw, it's hand speed and one big punch,
jab from Topuria.
Topuria's able to get leverage.
Topuria's still putting Emmett back on the cage. He's controlling the middle.
Good little shovel uppercut there to the body by Topuria. Emmett just out of range with that combination.
Topuria lands a little bit of a leftover.
Does a really good job of keeping his hands in the right place.
Jab from Topuria.
Always uptight. He's landing that jab on Josh. Already starting to see some swelling on the left eye of Emmett.
Yeah, that jab is going to get everything going for Topuria.
And that is some pretty significant swelling under that left eye of Josh Emmett.
Oof.
He's been slipping a few times tonight.
Emmett's got to try to get the middle and control it.
Everything he has, a little off balance, and look at the difference in striking with the balance from the way the punches are being thrown.
All right, let's check in with the coach, Dean Thomas, here at the 2-minute mark of round 1.
You guys are absolutely correct. Topuria is doing a great job of turning this into a straight boxing match. His hands are in position, and he's starting to really look like a boxer out here. If I'm Emmett, I'm trying to get him out of that position, so I'm going to start throwing kicks and shooting some takedowns to get him out
No
of that
kicks yet.
position
All punches.
So Emmett needs to change some things up.
Yeah, the main fight, Topuria and Emmett. Emmett's number 5, Topuria's number 9 in the featherweight division. Topuria's 9 and Emmett's 5, but Topuria's like the up-and-comer right now. He's looked really sharp his last few fights. Emmett's a bit of an animal himself, though, so this is a good fight. Ooh, first big kick from Topuria on Emmett's left leg, his lead leg. Ooh, another kick from Topuria. Ooh, a high kick from Emmett misses, but it looked good.
It just takes a lot of energy. And see how wide his stance is.
They're both throwing hard, just not landing. First one to land, something's going to win. Fucking throwing really hard. Hard combos, too. There you go. Kick from Emmett. Topuria's still controlling the middle, though, for the most part.
Emmett swelled up pretty quickly tonight. We've documented all of his trials and tribulations back in 2018 after the Jeremy Stevens fight. Had that injury.
Oh, my God, dude. They're throwing some haymakers, they're missing.
But this man is nothing if not tough, physically, mentally.
Emmett's got a little bit of a swelling on his left eye, but I wouldn't say that Topuria is necessarily doing much better than him. Just maybe happened to land one little better shot.
Much better when he started mixing in those kicks. It made a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
That's round 1.
All right, both guys had their moments in round 1. Back to Jacksonville in 30 seconds.
Ooh.
It's the next generation now.
Right here, look at this calf kick. I mean, you take out the base of Emmett, and that's how you take away the power in his hands. And that just brushes the nose so heavy. Those are the ones that hurt. Picked up some of the swelling on Emmett's face. These jabs and those right hands to the nose.
Joey Rodriguez, longtime boxing coach of Josh Emmett, imparting some advice there. They believe they can take advantage of a lazy Topuria jab.
They feel like the jab is being thrown just to set up the right uppercut. Emmett had much more success to end round 1 because he started to kick a little bit. Because Topuria does have a really boxing-heavy stance.
July 8th, we got a championship doubleheader from Vegas to Capstone International Fight Week 2023 main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez for the undisputed featherweight title. Moreno and Pantoja also in action.
There's like some light boos in the crowd. I don't really get it.
2 weeks from today.
And they feel like every time Emmett steps right, it makes Topuria reset. They like that. They want him circling away from the power of Ilya.
And Emmett said in this fight he wanted to
They've been feeling each other out.
do that. He's circling side to side. He's not staying just in the center. It's actually Topuria holding the center and Emmett circling side to side. Lateral movements.
Yeah, Topuria looks a little sharper right now.
Both fighters landing there. Numbers fairly close. More output from Emmett thus far. Slightly more accuracy and efficiency out of Topuria. Great to have you with us for this special UFC Fight Night on ABC. John Anik, Mike Side, Dominic Cruz, and Daniel Cormier. We got 3.5 to go here in round 2 of a possible 5. That would be new territory for Ilia Topuria.
And what Ilia Topuria does really well is he just kind of cuts you off as you try to circle. Slight step to the left. As Emmett tries to go right, slight step to the left.
Oof.
Now what he's doing, he's waiting for Emmett to throw a combination, and he's just countering it with one sharp one right away, right after. Because Emmett tends to drop his hands after his combinations, and he sits there. So Topuria is just countering when Emmett touches him.
That jab is nasty.
Jab and the calf kick sets up the uppercut and the left hook.
Coach did not want Emmett to allow Topuria to get away with the leg kicks. He is fast, though, man.
I'm telling you, does appear to be.
It's 5 rounds too. Keep that in mind. Even though it's not a championship fight.
The biggest difference is the boxing defense. The defense is really what's making the difference. I mean, Topuria's just not shooting the same shots that we're seeing.
Yeah, no one's attempted a takedown or even close to it.
On those big overhand rights.
There's maybe been like 10 kicks total even thrown.
So when Josh hits him, while he hits him, he's not taking the brunt of the strike.
Ooh. Emmett got a little bit of a hit there.
Steps back, just out of range for Emmett. When Emmett sits down to fire, he just takes one little step back and makes Emmett have to reach.
I think what Josh
There you go, a little bit left hook there from Emmett again.
When he went to the body, is going to really serve him well. Because right now he's having difficulty getting to the head of Topuria. But just keep going to the body. The body doesn't move as easily as the person moves their head.
I would love to see Emmett use his leg kicks to set up his hands. Throw the kick, follow with the hand.
Dang it, Ian, you're ahead of me.
Now he's having a hard time reaching Topuria as Topuria takes that back step.
Jab, man, that jab is nasty.
Ooh, nice kick.
Topuria back to work on that lead leg of Emmett. 90 seconds to go in the round. Good combination there.
Josh is slipping because that front leg is beat up.
Oh, nice combo by Topuria. That was a good 2 or 3 punches landed right there. Emmett's back up though, covering. Topuria got knocked back. He fell down. I don't think that was a clean hit though. There you go. Emmett's coming back though.
Good connection there by Emmett. Under a minute now to go, round 2.
Emmett's also throwing a lot more and not hitting. That's got to expend a lot of energy too. Yeah, I'm not watching on ESPN. I'm watching on Strikeout because it's easier to play it on the audio through.
Fakes are starting to get to Emmett, and you're seeing that the fake, and it's getting him to bring his guard up. See, like that, and that adds up to open up for the offense for Topuria.
And you see Emmett with that mouth open. Maybe tried to check a kick there from Topuria.
That's what's missing for Emmett right now.
Emmett's looking a little beat up for sure.
And that's allowing Topuria to just slide step back. Oh, you see that slide step? Beautiful back.
Uh-oh. Topuria's taking the back of Emmett a little bit. Got some hits in there. 10 seconds to go. Emmett's looking beat up, bro. He's just throwing haymakers, trying to land one.
10 minutes down, potentially 15 to go.
Ooh.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.
Let me see if the Xfinity stream's any better on ABC. Maybe it's a little faster.
I don't want you getting reckless. Stay focused. You're in this fight, okay? You're in this fight. Keep stepping right. Right hand's over his jab. You got to finish with your right hand, okay? But you got to keep rolling. Keep moving right for me, okay? Pushing into. It's always in combination. Also, he doesn't throw one at a time. He's doing a fantastic job. He is making this look easy. This kid is very good.
And he does not have the 5-round experience of Josh Emmett, but man, barely sweating, barely breathing heavy through 10. Largely dominant minutes.
Yeah.
This ain't going 5 rounds.
He is showing a level, man, that...
Oh, Emmett lands a few to open it up.
Oh, that leg is damaged.
Yeah, his kicks are paying off for Topuria a little bit, I think.
Some visible damage on that lead leg of Topuria as well.
Yeah, Emmett's landed a few too.
And the one thing you'll never question is Josh Emmett's fighter spirit.
Yep.
He's going to keep giving himself a chance. So Topuria is going to have to continue to put it on him if he wants to try to get him out of there.
Oh yeah, Emmett's not going to give this away easy at all. This is going to be as hard as it can be to get. He's going to have to really take him out and shut his lights off.
It is crazy, though. The inside of Josh Emmett's left ear is like turning black right now.
Good old cauliflower ear. For those of you at home, it's swelling of the ear to try to protect our brains. That's why that happens.
Is that why that happens?
Cauliflower ear, yes. Callus to the head.
Wow. Man, I got to make sure my cauliflower ear never gets worse.
No one punches you, DC. You pick them up and throw them. Stop it.
I've been punched a lot of times, my guy.
Who has the better ink?
The corner of Emmett is telling him he's got to move.
Emmett looks like he's probably got the more colorful, better tattoo overall. But I don't know. It depends on your style.
He's got to be a little tighter, man. He's overthrowing on a lot. And Topuria is really just throwing everything straight.
Emmett needs to take a little off his punches. Yeah, he's throwing way too hard.
Topuria can slide in and slide out. Nice hook.
Good left hook from Emmett.
Yep.
That's the thing is he does possess the power that at any moment he can put you out.
Good jab from Topuria. Another good jab.
I see his ear, Don.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
That's bad, John.
Yeah, I can't recall seeing a visual quite like that. It looks like he's got a headphone in it.
Yeah, it's like he's wearing one of those things that we use to hear our people talking to us in the truck.
Right, an IFB.
IFB, yeah.
Oh, Emmett landed one, landed two. Taking some damage too, though. They're trading, bro. In the pocket, in the phone booth. He's got Emmett back up, though. He's controlling the center, landing jabs. Yeah, dude, Emmett's getting... Whew. They had a little fury there. He landed some, but...
And like you said, John, Topuria's not even breathing heavy.
Oof. Topuria's jabs coming through now. You know he's got him beat, so he's gonna play it smart, trading kicks.
Emmett's connecting more and more as the fight moves on, and you cannot let Emmett connect.
No.
You just can't. And early on, Topuria was not allowing that to happen. But he also is stepping in.
Man, Emmett's face is fucking busted up, dude.
Taking damage in order to get Emmett out of there, and that's what Emmett forces you to do. If you're going to get him out, you got to take risks.
Yep.
There you go, a little bit of a leftover from Emmett. Lands.
Sustained by Emmett.
And also, you got to give credit to Topuria. He's not stepping off the gas at all.
Yeah, Topuria's being real smart here. Being efficient with the jab. Taking his time. Sometimes going for the kill can be a bad idea. Gas yourself out or put yourself in a bad position when you so clearly had the advantage. God, Topuria's jab's fucking crushing it right now.
These boys are swinging.
Yeah, the jab is a huge difference too in this.
Yeah, Topuria's jab's winning it right now.
Double the jab of Emmett, and that's how boxing offense gets started. That's how you find the calf kick. Everything is found with range with that jab, and that's why Topuria's range is just a little bit sharper than Emmett's so far.
Oh yeah, Emmett's down in the cards right now, so
I feel like the jab is the story.
he's eventually gonna have to go for it. Man, Topuria just looks he's just so crisp right now. He's being really smart, really efficient. It's almost like sometimes if you swing for the fences too much, you'll gas yourself. That's what Emmett's been doing. Topuria's been a little more controlled. Emmett definitely is more gassed right now than Topuria.
wouldn't expect him to ever give up on himself. But right now, Ilia Topuria is showing.
There you go.
And Emmett's calling him on, saying, let's fight.
Dang, Emmett is just swinging for the fences, dude.
He is not out of this at all. Good body shot from Emmett late in round 3. No commercials the rest of the way.
Emmett is fucked up and he is loving it.
Close one. I think I like it. I like it. That was 3. That was 3. Listen,
Emmett, what round was that? I don't know what I'm doing. What round was that?
If you're going to stay in the pocket, keep your hands high. And make sure you're rolling and shorting those punches. Dude, when you're out from the outside, he has a better chance of beating you and scoring on you. In the pocket, nobody wants to be in the pocket with...
And you heard the corners of Emmett there, and that's from, look at these shots these guys are trading in the pocket. I mean, they're both putting on a show for you, sitting there taking the damage and trading back and forth, not moving back, not dodging, but sitting there and trading in the pocket. Right here, bam, right hand to the nose, to a left hook, Topuria.
Well, right after this outstanding main event, don't miss a recap of all the action on the UFC Fight Night post show on ESPN+. Dean Thomas and Anthony Smith join Karen Bryant to break it all down, plus Megan on site with interviews with all the big winners only on ESPN+. Round 4 of a possible 5.
I thought Danny Castillo was onto something. That was the first round where Ilia slowed down a little bit. As the round went on, and as
Yeah,
got towards
that's
the end
true.
of the round, Josh Emmett was still in there fighting, and he was landing.
Emmett maybe, even though I don't think he won the round, I think he gained some ground, if that makes sense.
The beginning of 3.
Yeah, Emmett was visibly excited after the way that 3rd round ended. We'll see if he can pick it up here early round 4. Topuria jabs in the base.
Now Topuria has to be smart here, right? He's got to keep fighting behind that jab, and as he starts to fatigue a little bit, he's got to just manage it.
Can't let Topuria keep hitting that jab, though.
All night, that. He just fires that all night, and then backstep anytime Emmett throws something. That's what's been working for him.
He can control the last 10 minutes behind the jab. We see that a lot in boxing. As the fight goes long, the guy just starts to jab and move, jab and pivot. Topuria has that ability with all the damage he has put on Emmett to this point.
That jab appeared to get through. Emmett's vision still appears to be okay.
It's popping his head back.
Sweet kick incoming.
How you know an effective jab when the head pops back.
Oh. Yeah, I just saw it.
Topuria has landed 13 leg kicks, now 14, many of them flush. Two from Topuria. And a nice body shot. He's picking his spots round 4, though.
Yeah, you got to respect the patience of Topuria. How far ahead he got in earlier rounds. He's not forcing it. And Emmett's very dangerous. Yeah, that one was one of the more painful calf kicks you could eat.
Well, he was squatted down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the purple from that one right away.
The purple.
Emmett's pain threshold would appear to be absurd.
Yeah, crazy, John. To still be in there and still fighting after taking all this damage. Because it was very apparent, very early, that Ilia was going to be able to touch him up. And he has never given up on himself. And he has not lost that will to fight.
He's still in this fight.
Yes, for sure.
He could still knock somebody out right now.
A lot of times when a guy starts receiving a lot of damage, we start to call for the corner to say, stop the fight. But you can see their desire to be in there wane. Josh Emmett has not shown that. Right? He's shown that he still believes that he can go in this fight.
Oh, huge, huge jab for Topuria. And we talk about him.
Oh, another one.
In training, Topuria kind of seeks that in the octagon at times as well, right? Very measured, not forcing anything.
Yeah.
This is an outclassing of Topuria, to be honest, on the feet. Boxing, masterclass. This is what you do. You keep the jab going, and anytime the big puncher comes,
Minute
you take
40
a
to
back
go
step,
in round
and you
4.
counter, and then you get back on the jab and you move your feet. I mean, Topuria is putting a masterclass in boxing 101.
All the guys, we have this group message, right, for our show. And all the people are texting like, wow, Topuria looks good. And you just respond, he's outclassed. Because that right now is showing the next level. He's showing the next level to Josh Emmett. And
Ian.
shots from Topuria. Emmett is still going. Topuria's just going to find a shot, though.
Emmett's not done yet.
Oh, like the boot for the Spaniard. Oh, my goodness.
Dang.
Uppercut was heavy.
And Emmett's still throwing back to the canvas now. The otherworldly heart of Josh Emmett.
But look at Topuria just set everything up. The Emmett corner said early in the fight, he's setting up the uppercut. They knew it. He took his time and finally got to it.
He's going to ground and pound instead of the submission.
Call it.
When the man is rocked. Wow.
Call it.
12 seconds to get him out of here. Can he do it? Or will Emmett survive the onslaught?
Oh, my goodness.
El Matador ferociously chasing a finish late round 4.
The toughness of Emmett.
Dang, dude. We're going to see a crazy round 5 because Emmett's going to have to go for it. Man, Emmett looks fucked up, dude.
Breathe. Breathe. We're in this fight. Breathe. 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 Okay? Hey, we just can't sit still. We have to continue to move.
Dang, dude. He's got the biggest mouse on his left eye, man.
We're in this fight. Focus. We're going to back him up this round. We got nothing to lose. We're going to back him up this round, okay? All right? After your body shot, right hand to continue to roll. Just keep moving. Look it. He has to plant, okay? Once we got to have a big round here. Yeah. So you just got to go for hard. You got in the pocket. That short check.
See Ilia Topuria come in, throw the right hand, little short left hook right there. I mean, just perfect, man. It's like a shovel left hook. It's not a left hook that goes around the guard. He throws it right, and then here he steps back. Emmett goes down because Emmett is hurt. He's so tough that he won't quit on himself, but the referee's taking a look at him now.
Yeah, Mark Goddard has called in the doctor to take a look at Josh Emmett. Danny Castillo and Joey Rodriguez certainly know their athlete, crowd voicing its appreciation. But DC, any thought if you're a corner man to stepping in or at least having more of a conversation?
Emmett's walking around, man. He's looking pissed off.
But Don made a great point, right? Josh Emmett is a guy that has been to the top, fought for the belt. You let him make that decision, right? As he's getting older in the game, and he's going to keep.
Emmett's got to come out swinging, dude. He's got no choice.
I'm telling you right now, you cannot sleep on Emmett. You have to give him the 5th round to let everything hang out, and he's doing it. That's what happens with us older guys. You got to let us fight.
His coaches told him, bite down on your mouthpiece and swing. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Can't stop. You can't slow down.
Affected by that strike a moment ago than any that has landed prior. Emmett didn't seem to want anything to do with the doctor after round 4. And he has started round 5 strongly.
They asked him if he wanted to fight, and he said, yeah, man. He goes, of course I want to fight.
A jab at Topuria is getting firing again, and that's what he's got to get using.
Oh,
that
man.
jab and that calf kick.
That calf is done.
Emmett trying to play with some stance switches here. Gotta believe that the vision now in that left eye is not ideal.
Topuria's probably thinking to himself, like, what in the world? If this is the top 5, there are some tough dudes up there. Because we saw Josh Emmett and Calvin Kattar, but you know Calvin Cater's just as tough. There are some hammers in the top 5 of this division, man.
We have had an area takedown attempt on either side in this fight. Appears as though the Topuria corner is now calling for that level change. Trying to minimize risk here late in the fight. Nice leg kick from Emmett.
God dang. It's crazy that they can throw so much and like guys move their heads so good and avoid damage like that.
It's so high. I mean, I thought when watching him in preparation, wow, this kid's really good. But when you watch him like this, at this level, with this level of competition, you really gain an appreciation for who Ilia Topuria is and what he could be in this weight class.
I saw him against Jai Herbert, and I became an instant fan because he was losing 2 rounds and came back and knocked him out.
Little body shot there from Emmett.
Masterclass Emmett and still stay in the fight, taking patience. Look how patient he is. Look at the timing of the takedown at the end of the round. Everything he does is patient, and he doesn't force things, and that's what's creating all the damage.
But you watch him beat up Bryce Mitchell, throw him around like he didn't belong in there. You watch what he did to the jiu-jitsu Ryan Hall. You knew how good this kid was. We've never seen him do that against a Josh Emmett. And not a Josh Emmett that's looking for the door. This is a Josh Emmett that's motivated, that wanted to be here to try to stop this young man on his way up the ring.
Emmett trying to get back up.
After fights like this, and then Topuria we're learning about Topuria through a fight like this, learning that Topuria is here. He's probably not going anywhere for a long time.
He's good, he's young. He's so young to be performing at this level.
Still 2 minutes with which to work for Topuria, already working on a career-best offensive performance tonight. Josh Emmett has realized a lot of success in his own right, but just hasn't doled out nearly the damage.
Now, even to be smart enough to say, okay, let's grapple this guy because he's so dangerous in this 5th round still. It's like putting somebody in a corner, and they could hit you with that shot and drop you, so his corner, so you know what, just grapple him. He's hard to get out of there. He's not going to quit. Let's ixnay the damage and just get this guy on his knees and beat him up there.
Absolutely.
Haven't seen much resembling a weakness on film from Ilia Topuria.
Great scramble.
Emmett trying, dude. He's doing everything he can to try to get up.
Can't use it to create the space he needs, though. Topuria follows perfectly. Takes the back, keeps the back. Beautiful transition.
When you hit that grab and that arm comes up the middle, he's got to elevate the elbow.
Throw the flag. Stop it. Yeah, a little fence grab Emmett got away with there, but Topuria nonetheless takes him down for the 3rd time this round.
Man, what a performance. What a performance. I mean, honestly, by both guys, Josh Emmett's toughness
35 seconds.
as evident as anybody I've ever seen. He's so tough.
Topuria's got his back, but they've been scrambling.
Ilia is good.
And of course, Alexander Volkanovski puts his undisputed belt on the line against the interim champ.
Dang, Emmett taking some shots here at the end. 20 seconds.
Ilia Topuria has arrived.
I would not have a problem with it right now. Honestly, after seeing this, I would not have a problem with Ilia Topuria moving his way into the top 5 and getting a championship opportunity against the winner of Yair versus Alex. Unless Yair wins, Alex will deserve a rematch. But if he wins, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Alex.
All right, that'll do it. A lot of mutual respect, you can be sure, between these 2 combatants who get a standing ovation here in Jacksonville. But come next week, it will be El Matador, Ilia Topuria, in the top 5 in this UFC featherweight division.
That was a pretty thorough win right there. Pretty thorough. may be a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. That's alright. Yeah, I don't know. I might just play this for a while and then call it a stream. Wasn't really planning on streaming this long, to be honest. Why would you do that? I guess it didn't matter. Let me know if y'all are gonna stream later on FIFA. Cool card. That's a really cool card, actually. It's a good card against green. Oh man, that might have been the hesitation I needed. Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, I kind of have to do it, don't I? I'll take the 1 damage for some extra cards. Who's attacking? That guy? So they would all have to block that unicorn? No, not yet. Oh man, that was huge. What a move. Even if he hits me with 4 coming up. God damn, that one's gonna suck, dude. Fuck. I don't think this. I think I lost. That's it. Yeah, I had to start from scratch, so I had to do like these little challenges. And at the end of the challenge, I actually think I play someone online, but it's like, it's not a deck that I built. I lost this one pretty bad. They're like color challenges or something like that. It's like I don't think I get a choice. Maybe I do.
I'm up for a challenge.
I want to build a deck with what I have. Maybe I should keep doing challenges.
It's a game, so remember to have fun. Hey, I can see your hand.
Creature you don't control, tap it. If you control a creature with a counter on it, the chosen creature doesn't untap during its next control. Exile target. Non-land permanent.
Keep going. You can do this.
Exile target an opponent controls until borrowed time leaves the battlefield. Draw a card and then discard a card. If you discarded a non-land card, okay.
Keep going. You can do this. Play again?
Nice. the dick.
I'm ready to play.
Nice. Deck's pretty sick.
You got me. ready to play.
Dang, that's pretty nice. Why does it keep attacking with that thing? I don't get it.
I should have seen that coming.
Makes no sense.
towards the fight. I'm ready. This is your fight. Win it. Let's do this together.
You got me.
Oh.
So many new worlds. So many opportunities to get lost.
Wow, you've beaten all of the color challenges.
God, I love green, dude. Green's easily my favorite. That was a pretty nice deck we just had, though. Let's go ahead and go with it. Kind of a cool card. Also a cool card. Oh man, I didn't see he had that. Oh, that's my fault. So only two. This is not good. Mana's 4. I'm gonna take that one out. God damn it, dude. They're gonna go after that instead of going after me, huh? Could essentially get me down to 1 mana. 1 life. Interesting.
Try not to give up hope.
What, 4? Artifact, creature, or enchantment. With mana value X or less. I don't understand why that didn't work last time. Maybe I was supposed to do 1 more. Shit, maybe. Oh shit. There we go. Damn, if I pull this off, this is gonna be crazy. I don't know if that's a computer or a human in reality, but it probably should have had me already. Come on. You've already won. Just end it. I'm probably going to end the stream here. I'm going to keep playing, but I'll end the stream here.